So do you like peanut butter? Do you like jelly? Well, let me introduce you to Genshin's version of peanut butter and Genshin's version of jelly. So if you guys are looking for a new team to utilize your Farina with, you can do this one. I guarantee it. It's also one of the most flexible teams of all time. Farina's gonna be draining the HP of everyone in your party with her own elemental skill, her Oisa form, doing damage, applying Hydro while off the field. Not only is she gonna be draining health this way, but because she's draining health, she's also gonna be building up fanfare stacks from her elemental burst, giving bonus damage to everyone in your party, including herself. We're also gonna get bonus healing from this fanfare stack conversion as well. So if a character that's draining HP from your party, doing damage off field, and also, well, boosting up your party's effectiveness overall. We're gonna have Noelle as our on-field driver, healer, damage dealer, shielder, whatever it is you want to do, this maid's gonna do it. Healing from breastplate, also having the cooldown reduction from nice and clean, as she's gonna be your on-field driver, also gonna be able to do a decent amount of damage with sweeping time as the activation skill, and it's gonna have a 15-second duration, 15-second cooldown, 60 energy cost. Does that sound familiar to anyone here? These two characters pair well together because they kind of counter the downsides of each other. And there's one thing that you can do with Noelle to really utilize and buff up your Farina and other party members' energy recharge as well. And you don't need a crazy 5-star weapon. No, you just need this thing. You need the Favonius Greatsword. If it's R1, fine. If it's R5, fantastic. The stuff you're seeing in the background is with a very low costed team. We're talking very minimal gear. We have a level 50 Favonius Greatsword. In our Farina in the showcase you're watching right now is actually only level 16. Her talent levels are 2 and 3. We don't even have her second ascension yet of Unheard Confession, which is going to buff up her damage even more. So if nothing else, take this as a proof of concept, because this is indeed the characters I've used to go ahead and fully max out 36 star the Abyss this reset. The Farina gear isn't anything super crazy either. We're going to be using her on the 4-piece Golden Troop set, which you've seen in probably every Farina guide out there, including my own. If you haven't watched it yet though, go check it out. It's pretty cool. And my artifact quality isn't the worst thing ever. It's pretty good on the flower. 30 crit damage, 3 crit rate. We're using an offset feather for some reason, just some big crit damage there, but the rest of them are just okay. This Sands, HP percent main Sands, crit rate substat is basically the only thing there. We're also using an HP percent goblet with some crit rate, and then a crit damage circlet with a tiny bit of crit chance there. We're also going to be using the Festering Desire. If you don't have access to it, you can use the pipe. You can go ahead and use Favonius if you want. Maybe you can even throw in the signature weapon, because you're going to be having access to so much energy gain from the Favonius Great Sword. As far as the artifact setup on this Noelle, you don't need anything super crazy. However, there's going to be two different things you can see comparison side-wise. One of them is going to be 4-piece Hunter. The other one's going to be my really well-rolled Opulent Dream set. Both of them are usable with this setup. However, if you're brand new to building Noelle, you're brand new with this Farina team setup, you want to use this Favonius build, go ahead and utilize the Marchus Hunter set. It's going to save you resin because it comes from the same domain as the Golden Troop set. You're going to be farming up for your Farina. If you have already farmed those up, you might have some 4-piece defense Hunter sets laying around that you just haven't decided to level yet. It's very, very, very good. And I'll tell you why. Even if you're using a lower leveled, lower refinement Favonius Greatsword, you're going to want to have crits on your Noelle so you can proc these extra particles. Well, guess what? You're going to be able to get 36% crit rate for free from the Marchus Hunter set. And this is a big boon to not only just the damage your Noelle is going to be able to deal consistency-wise as your on-field driver, but it's also going to allow you to gain as many particles as possible from your Favonius Greatsword procs. And so I hear you, who should I use for friends for this team? Who are the other two characters? That's the best thing about this duo and why they're peanut butter and jelly. They already make the whole sandwich. You can put more stuff in it if you want. If you want to go in with more Hydro, one of my personal favorite ones is Yelan. She's a Hydro character, so you get Hydro Resonance. She has the ability of Depth Current and Dice for some nice off-field damage, which is going to get boosted up by Farina's fanfare stacks as well. We love to see it. She's pretty good at generating particles as well with Lingering Lifeline. If you have C1, she's even better at generating particles, so you can lower the ER on your Farina even more. If you pulled her signature weapon and you don't have Festering Desire, you really want to utilize it, this is something that's very, very good for you because you typically need a ton of energy recharge. Well, guess what? You can have a Favonius Noelle. You could put in a Favonius Warbow Yelan as well. If you don't have access to Yelan, well, I got a very, pleasant surprise for you. If you're looking for another Hydro character off field, then go ahead and look at Xing Cho. He's very reminiscent of Yelan. You just can't run super fast, especially if Sacrificial Sword on him. This is another way for you to generate particles, dump them into your Farina. If need be, you're running a very low ER build, you're trying to make your build work, that's going to be able to help you out there as well. It also is going to give you a little additional healing with Guha Sword Rain Cutter and Fatal Rain Screen from his own bonus of Hydropathic, his Ascension. It's so good. You also get damage reduction, so the shield from your Noelle lasts even longer in case you take a big hit. You really want that shield to last with this build from Breastplate, because if Breastplate's not up, you can't heal. Damage reduction plus shield is chef's kiss good.
Nice.
If you're running double Hydro, then an Animo character actually is pretty amazing. You can run Kazuha with the Viridescent Venom set for that 40% water elemental shred. We love it. It also is going to give you bonus damage on top of that, which, yeah, I know there's diminishing returns, but we don't really need elemental mastery from Sucrose. So Kazuha is actually pretty good here. One of my personal favorites, though, is actually Haizao Punchman in the Viridescent Venom setup because, well, he can be a quick swap type character. You don't need to have an elemental skill ready whenever you want to swirl. You just come in, he's Catalyst, hit something with his charge attack, swirl the Hydro, punch something, use your elemental burst if you want to, and get out. You're also going to have a lot of bonus damage with the Yelan's Adept with Ease, as well as the Fanfare stacks from your Farina. And this in a supportive aspect, supportive role, this Kazuha right here with not even 2k attack can punch things for like 100k, which is pretty decent for a quick swap character who's just kind of there as a debuffer with the VV set. Electro characters are also fantastic. Yai Miko's off-field damage will still get buffed up from Farina, and then once you have her on field and you're popping her elemental burst, if Yelan's there, that's gonna bump her up temporarily with Adept with Ease. And it's nice to get that big bonus damage on that elemental burst because, you know, you're taking the field, you want to do as much damage as possible. But probably my favorite Electro character to run in this party is Official, and we've already seen how awesome Fireworks teams and Electro Charge teams can be with Official due to Undone Be Thy Sinful Hex. And generally, well, Geo's not that great at elemental reactions or anything of that sort. Crystallize is pretty bad, but if you have Electro Charged on the enemy, you hit them with a Geo attack, guess what? That is still an Electro related elemental reaction, and it will proc this as well. And that's a big deal because we want to keep our Noelle on field as much as possible, shielding and healing to keep up the HP that our Farina is draining. I've even had some success using a Raiden Shogun, a Farina, Noelle, and Nahida team doing, yes, some weird Hyper Bloom, Crystallization, Fanfare stacks, extraordinaire, massive AoE damage, doing all of the stuff in Genshin Impact the team. There's a lot of stuff you can do with this very solid core of Farina as well as Noelle. And honestly, it feels extremely powerful, even with my Farina at time of this recording only being level 60 in talent level 2 and talent level 3. She's supposed to be doing a considerable, much more damage than what you're seeing here. And we're already 36 started the Abyss with this sort of basic team. And I think the fact that the Farina that you see in this video is only level 60 is a testament to just how strong this core can be because, well, I'm supposed to be doing a lot more off-field damage as well as boosting up the damage of my party with my Fanfare stacks. I can get this to talent level 10 and this will be much better than it is now, especially because, like I said at the start of the video, I don't even have her second Ascension yet. Like, I'm at 2% power and we 36 started the Abyss with this. It's kind of insane. But if you're looking for some fun and super flexible ways to utilize Farina, go out there, level your Noelle a little bit, throw some more Choose Hunter set on here, dust off that Favonius Greatsword you might have never used in your life. I know I haven't. And let me know what you think about this down below. We don't have enough Noelle content on this channel as of late. Come here. We're going to be covering her once again with one of my current favorite teams. Today's going to be Noelle, Yelan, Farina, as well as Yunjin. We're going to swap this one out and have another video with your boy Albedo because he does not get enough press time, literally, at all. I think everyone forgot he existed. Yourself, your boy here included. Well, let's just get on in this thing. Make sure you drop that sub, hit the like button. Screw the algorithm.
Another test.
2023 again, so I thought it would be a perfect time to do a 2023 updated Noelle build guide. We're going to be tackling everything from talent selection to artifacts, weapons, characters, and more. Genshin's been out for a couple of years now, like I said, is 2023. So let's tackle some misconceptions about Noelle's kit so you guys have all of the information necessary going into this guide. First thing that you see when you go through Noelle's kit is that she scales a lot off of defense. Sweeping time, breastplate, normal attack. How do all of these things work together? So when you activate sweeping time, which is what everyone's going to be building around from new player to all the way up to experienced player, it works this way. It's going to convert a portion of your defense and it's going to give you attack for that. So you can see C6 sweeping time talent level 13. It's going to give me 85% of my defense when activated, and it's going to give me that as bonus attack. This does not mean that Noelle only scales off defense. Attack is a semi-important stat that you can use as part of the damage calculation, but a lot of the times you're going to be focused end game on buffing up your defense stat because, well, if you take a look at Noelle's base stats, even with her best weapon in the game, Red Hone Stone Thresher, you take a look at her base attributes and you can see my base attack's only 733 while my base defense is 799. So your base defense is actually higher. So once you get to level 90, which is a very important thing for you to do on Noelle because it's the only way to actually increase that base defense stat, well, you're going to be focusing mainly on defense over attack in your build. However, skills that scale off of your attack aren't utterly wasted. This little distinction is very important to keep in mind as we go over some of the weapons that you can use on her all the way up to max level, but that's something that we're going to talk about a little bit later in the video. Another misconception that you might see also involves sweeping time, and that's that Noelle's damage is actually elemental burst damage. That is not true at all. The only thing that scales off of things that buff elemental burst damage on Noelle is the 2 hits that come out as you activate sweeping time. The rest of the damage that you're doing, that actual damage multiplier, does come from the talent level of your normal talent level. After those 2 initial attacks, which is the burst damage and skill damage that you see in the game on sweeping time, the damage that you're doing is actually based off of your normal attack talent level, which makes it extremely important to not just level one or the other. You need to level both of these up to get the most amount of damage from your Noelle. And obviously breastplate is going to be one of her elemental skills. It is pretty important to level up because it's going to increase your healing trigger chance as you start the game, and it also is going to increase the barrier and healing amount that you receive from breastplate as well, which sadly means that Noelle is a very greedy maid and you need to level up every single one of these to the max level possible to get the most use out of Noelle. In my opinion, as far as talent priority goes, you need to do sweeping time and her normal attack talent first, but don't forget to level up breastplate as you go about it. If you're running low on materials to level your talents, though, you can keep breastplate and do that one last. One of the other reasons you can kind of skimp on that breastplate level, even if maybe you're a brand new player, if you have access to Constellation 1, it's going to increase the heal proc rate of her breastplate heal to 100% as long as you have the barrier from breastplate and sweeping time active at the same time, which is pretty much the bread and butter of using Noelle to just Goomba stomp monsters into oblivion. So C1 here is actually very prevalent and will give you a good significant boost. And while it's not going to give you the bonus defense to barrier or defense to healing like leveling the actual talent itself will, it will make that heal trigger chance no longer RNG and make it 100%, which makes her a significantly stronger support and healer while being able to do a large amount of AoE damage. Now, Noelle does have a lot of very good artifact sets for both new and veteran players in Genshin, and by far the best one is going to be the Husk of Opulent Dream set. The 2-piece of the Husk set is going to give you 30% defense, which is going to be awesome, larger heals, larger shields, and more damage during sweeping time. And then the 4-piece as well is going to allow us to gain stacks of increased defense and geo damage while Noelle is off the field, and while you are doing geo damage, you will be able to max these stacks out as well. Traditionally, when using the Opulent Dream set, what you're going to want to do is get the first 4 stacks automatically from Noelle being off the field. That way, when you activate sweeping time, you will already have
all 4 stacks for the max defense and geo damage bonus, and you'll be able to maintain those maximum stacks from just doing damage with the geo damage from sweeping time. It's very important to get all 4 of these stacks first, because like we talked about with sweeping time, the defense you have at the moment you activate sweeping time is what the game looks at when giving you the bonus attack. It won't change until you activate sweeping time again, or this duration on sweeping time expires. Now, another set to look at is going to be the retracing bolide set. The 2-piece here gives you 35% shield strength, which is going to increase the shield strength that Noelle is going to receive from her own barrier on her elemental skill as long as she is the active character, because this 2-piece only works for the person equipping the set, which is fine because Noelle is going to be out there skirmishing with everybody. And then the 4-piece here is while you're protected by a shield, you do 40% additional normal and charged attack damage, which both of these work very well with Noelle's kit. Now, another 4-piece that's actually pretty good on Noelle as well, and probably the one you're going to be able to gain access to as you're doing world bosses as a new player and leveling up, is actually the gladiator set here. Now, the 2-piece here is going to give us 18% attack, which isn't the greatest thing for Noelle, but attack still does buff up our damage, which is why we made that important distinction that while she does have this defense to attack scaling, all of her skills still look at attack. So this is still going to help us out a little bit in the damage department, but it doesn't increase our heals or shields at all. But the 4-piece here is going to give you 35% normal attack damage, which is a very easy to use set. You can just throw it on. You're going to do 35% more damage after you activate sweeping time and swing that laser sword around. Do note though that this doesn't increase your charge attack damage. So if you're a fan of spinning to winning, this isn't going to do anything for the spin to win build outside of just give you 18% attack, which, while okay, isn't really what we're here for. Now, while both these different 4-pieces are almost on top of each other for the amount of damage that they do, I'm a fan of the retracing bolide set. It isn't as easy to use as the gladiator set, but I really like that 35% shield strength, and I really like the 40% charge attack damage if you're going to be doing the spin to win to hit multiple enemies. Now, if you don't have access to either of these full 4-piece sets yet because they just haven't rolled that well, there is something you can do that is a sacrifice of a little bit of damage compared to the other options, and that's going to be 2 pieces of the Archaic Petra set. We're going to get 15% geo damage from that, and then you're also going to use 2 pieces of the Husk of Opulent Dream set and get 30% defense from that. It's basically like using a make your own version of 4-piece Husk, because you're going to get 15% geo damage and 30% defense instead of getting all of the stacks from the 4-piece Husk. But it is something that you can do to kind of put Noelle together and have fun with her in Genshin until you get any of the other 4 pieces that we've mentioned in the guide. Now, as far as stat priority for Noelle goes, the goblet's going to be the most important thing, and by far the geo damage goblet is what you want to get on Noelle. It is better than a defense goblet, no matter what your weapon is or your team is. If you absolutely have to use a defense goblet though, it's going to be around 10 to 12% less damage depending on what weapon you're using and what build you're doing, regardless of what weapons you have. As we move into the circlets here, we really want crit chance as our circlet. Noelle doesn't get any bonus crit chance. There are a couple crit chance weapons we can get, but it's such a good stat. If you can get crit rate main, it's going to make your life a lot easier. You could use crit damage main stat as well. Either main stat's fine, but you're going to try to maintain that 2-to-1 crit damage to crit chance ratio. We're not trying to get 10% crit chance, 300 crit damage. We want more like 70 crit chance, 140 crit damage. 80 crit chance, 160 crit damage. Maintain that 2-to-1 ratio, and that's going to be the magic number for most DPS in Genshin to really get the big damage and the consistency when using them. Now, moving on to Sands here, a lot of guys out there will be like, attack percent's better, defense percent's better. When you're building Noelle, level 90, all things said and done, finalized build, defense percent for all weapons that you're going to be using on her is going to be better. So if you're spending time trying to get a Sands that you're going to be using on a character to get a lot of work out of it forever, defense percent is what you're aiming for as you're a new player growing up. Though, while you're working on talent levels for sweeping time, talent levels for Favonius blade work, you don't have access to Constellation 6. The math will work out that until you're talent level 9 on sweeping time, you're not going to get the most amount of damage from a defense percent sans. So until you're talent level 9, attack percent sans is technically better for explicitly damage. I would still recommend that you go out and get a defense percent sans there, because that's going to increase your healing from your elemental skill, as well as the shield from your elemental skill breastplate. But it's also going to give you a nice bonus shield that everyone forgets about in devotion as well, which will help you protect your other characters when Noelle is in the backline and you're trying to use some of your other supports or damage dealers. This will also activate and shield them, and this is also based off of Noelle's defense. So while you might get a little bit more damage from having an attack percent sans until you're talent level 9 or more on sweeping time, I would still recommend trying to get a good rolled defense percent main stat sans. Now, as far as substats are concerned with Noelle, crit chance, crit damage, defense percent, those are all extremely valuable for you. Maintain that 2-to-1 ratio of crit chance and crit damage, pick up some defense percent as well. And then the big boogeyman, energy recharge. How much energy recharge do you need for your Noelle? That's actually going to be wildly different depending on what characters you're using her with. Are you using her with characters like Raiden Shogun? Are you in a mono Geo team? These Geo particles and other characters that are good batteries for Noelle will vastly lower the amount of energy recharge that you need on her. I'm currently running with Raiden Shogun in this build, and I have no energy requirements whatsoever. I have 106 energy recharge. You want to be safe as you're starting a new Noelle leveling up. Aim for 130, 140%, and you'll be able to tell from then how much more energy recharge you may or may not need. Also, as you get into the big endgame veteran version of Noelle, well, C6 here not only is going to buff up the defense to attack ratio that you get from sweeping time, but it's going to lower your energy requirements technically, because every time you defeat an enemy with sweeping time activated, it's going to add 1 more second to its duration, increasing it by up to 10 more seconds, meaning that sweeping time can be activated for the entire battle in a lot of situations, leaving you to gain all those particles from your defeated enemies and maintaining your sweeping time uptime, and then saving the cooldown for it in the next fight. Now, there's a lot of weapon options in Genshin Impact, especially if you're a new player or you're a returning player. Different event weapon claymores, different crafted claymores, but there's 4 big ones that you should definitely look at, and there's going to be like one other 5th one for multiplayer we'll talk about. The first one here is going to be a crafted weapon, and it's the new player mainstay. It's going to be the White Blind, because this thing does a lot of good things for Noelle. It has base defense increase of 51.7%, but the ability is really what we're here for. If you hit an enemy with a normal or charge attack, you're going to get 12% attack and defense at refinement rank 5. And this stacks up to 4 times, meaning you can get 48% attack and 48% defense at the same time. There's no crit chance or crit damage on this weapon, but you get huge offensive stats during sweeping time and huge defensive stats as well. You get larger shields, larger heals, more attack for free, and then a ton of defense, which you get to turn into even more attack, which is very, very, very nice. It does do a little bit less damage than the next one we're talking about, but it also does increase those shields and heals by a substantial margin. But do keep in mind that when you're using the White Blind, you're going to want to get these 4 stacks from the White Blind before you activate Sweeping Time. Because remember, like we talked about at the start of the video, Sweeping Time looks at your defense as you activate it. So you don't want to activate Sweeping Time and then get defense. No, you want to get all your defense from the Infusion Blade ability and then turn all of that into even more attack. Now, Noelle's next weapon is going to be access to the Serpent Spine. This is the Battle Pass weapon. It's amazing. It has crit rate, so it's going to make you easy access builds for Noelle. It's going to be awesome. Then it's going to give you bonus damage from the Wave Splitter effect. As long as you don't take damage, you're going to get this stacking bonus damage. If you're a Battle Pass maniac like me, you get all the way up to refinement rank 5. It's going to outperform the White Blind in damage, especially with the new artifact set of Opulent Dreams by quite a large margin. Used to be pretty close to each other with the White Blind giving you additional shields and healing. Now the Serpent Spine is going to outdo it by quite a large margin, and it's going to be easier for you to build. You're going to be critting more often due to the 27 crit rate. It's a good time. You're going to want to learn how to dodge a little bit from time to time so you don't lose stacks with Noelle, but you're going to be good to go because you have those shields, baby. You know what's going on. This is going to be a fantastic thing for you if you want to buy the battle pass. So if you want to buy the battle pass one or maybe a couple of times to level up and try out Serpent Spine on Noelle, it's pretty cool, but you always have the option to craft a bunch of white blinds and make this Refinement Ring 5 to try her out initially. And they're both good options. Now, the best one by far is the Red Horn Stone Thresher. This thing has the highest base attack of all the weapons because it's a 5-star. It also gives 88 crit damage, which is amazing. It also gives you the very important refinement ability of getting bonus damage based off of your defense during both normal and charged attacks. This is awesome because it's not like the Serpent Spine where it gives you a damage bonus multiplier like 50% geo damage would. No. This is a brand new thing. It's an additional multiplier to her kit that she did not have access to before, allowing you to hit very, very high numbers on your Noelle. This does also scale up your geo damage bonus, your crit chance, and your crit rate as well. So it's a very, very powerful weapon. Even an R1 version of this will decimate any of the other weapons we've talked about so far. Another weapon that's very good, and the weapon I alluded to and why it's very important to know that Noelle doesn't technically scale off of just defense, but attack as well, is going to be the fact that Skyward Pride is pretty fun to use with her. Now, this does give you some energy recharge, so if you're going on a multiplayer, you're having energy recharge issues, you have access to this, you should try it out. But the refinement ability is pretty nice as well. So it's going to give you 14% at R4 here, bonus damage to everything that you do. But on top of that, it's also going to give you this little vacuum blaze. So when you activate your elemental burst, you're going to get up to 8 of these extra vacuum blade attacks that are going to be able to crit, and that's going to be based off your crit damage. And it's also going to have an attack multiplier. Now, Noelle can get to very high attack stats, so this is going to hit pretty dang hard. Now, it's not going to hit as hard as the Red Horn Stone Threshers because this one will be converted into geo damage and benefit from that geo damage, whereas the Skyward Pride just kind of hangs out and stays in, well, it's physical damage. Now, speaking of multiplayer, if you're doing multiplayer, the Favonia's Greatsword's an actual monster for her and almost a necessity if you're doing one character multiplayer because she is very awful at generating particles for herself. And this is going to give you extra particle generation, extra recharge. You're going to take a massive hit in damage compared to a lot of the other weapons, but you'll have the access to actually using the character you're trying to use in multiplayer as well. So check out the Favonia's Greatsword. Not the greatest sword for her, but still a contender if you're a multiplayer aficionado. As far as constellations go, they're all amazing for Noelle. None of them are absolutely necessary. The first one, though, does remove that RNG from her healing kit that we talked about. If you gain access to that, you'll have a lot more fun with her as a support. The other ones, though, they're all good as well. We all know C6 making her the big damage maid everyone's here for, but access to that as well as C4, which is to be cleaned when your shield breaks a 400% attack mod as geo damage, is also very nice. Her worst one by far is Combat Maid, which reduces your charge attack stamina consumption and gives you a little bit more charge attack damage. While not the worst thing ever, also not the best thing ever, so it's the worst one here. The other ones, 3 and 5, we know this already. You're getting extra levels to both your elemental skill and your burst. Sadly, C5 is the extra 3 levels to the elemental burst, meaning that she does have a lot of power in her C5 plus C6 constellation when talking about her as a main damage dealer. Not that you can't run her as one before then, but once you get these, you're going to see quite a bit of damage difference compared to before. Now, when we're going into characters we want to use with Noelle, one of the things that we definitely want to take note and focus on is their ability to generate elemental particles so we can use sweeping time with Noelle's elemental burst. And this is going to be characters that can use Favonia's weapons very well, characters that are Geo, characters that are named Raiden Shogun also work quite well. But the first one that we're going to be going over is going to be my current favorite 4-star Geo character is Yunjin, because Yunjin can do something like the Red Horn Stone Thresher can do with her ability Cliff Breaker's Banner, which is going to add yet another damage multiplier to Noelle's normal damage talent. This is going to be based off of Yunjin's own defense though, but it still will use the crit damage and geo damage bonus that Noelle has. And this is where you're going to be able to see 50, 60, 70, 100,000 damage hits in some circumstances on certain abyss floors with certain buffs and other characters on your Noelle. And it's a very awesome thing to see one little not Favonius worth maid go into the abyss and absolutely trounce everything without taking a single point of damage to her HP bar. Yunjin's one of those characters that is fantastic with so many of these underrated underdog normal attacking characters like Noelle that she's super awesome to use with her, and you can pick her up for free from the Leeway Lantern Rite Festival this patch at 3.4. Now, my other favorite 4-star Geo character to use with Noelle is Goro, and that's because he does everything that we already talked about. He's pretty easy to build, so you can put the Favonius Warbow on him, generate Geo Particles, generate the extra Windfall Particles from this weapon on your Noelle. That's nice already to help battery Noelle. He also can boost up Noelle's damage because he has the ability to boost up Geo damage as well as defense for everyone in your party. Seems good. I like it already. He also is another Geo character, so with him in Noelle, you're going to activate Geo Resonance for even more damage and shield strength. They're a pretty powerful combo even at Constellation 0. And that was just these two skills. He also has an ascension to increase your defense of party members by 25%. So you're going to get the defense flat, the Geo damage bonus here, as well as 25% additional defense on Noelle just from him using some skills and being in your party at Constellation 0. And then you can get a little bit more damage from him if you get him all the way to C6, because you're going to be able to give Geo characters 40% more crit damage for free. It's not going to make you double your damage or anything, and for a C6 it's actually pretty tame the amount of damage you're going to get Constellation to power level wise from a character in Genshin Impact. Don't be afraid to run him at C0 with Noelle. You're going to have a good time. He's going to battery you and do everything you want to do with that partnership of Goro and Noelle. Now, another one of the old stay standards for Noelle to combo with is going to be Ningguang here, and that's because Ningguang can do a couple of things. He'll be a damage buffer, but also a damage dealer as well, because Jade Screen does do damage, can block projectiles, a couple of them, to help you with that defensive orientation. But it also is going to give bonus damage to people who walk through the Jade Screen, which can be your Noelle. You throw it down, walk through, pop sweeping time, do a bunch of good stuff. Free bonus damage is pretty good. It's not the full 15 like Goro gives, and it doesn't boost your defense, but it's still 12% Geo damage. So while not as supportive as Yunjin or Goro is for Noelle, you still have a little bit of support from the Jade Screen, but you do get a lot more damage in Ningguang than you would in the other two. Another non-standard character that I love running with Noelle is actually going to be Raiden Shogun, because she batteries like crazy, and this is how I'm able to run my energy recharge solo on my Noelle. We have Raiden Shogun, who's going to come out, do a bunch of damage with Secret Art Musou Shensetsu, and then we are going to go back in and use Sweeping Time. And we kind of just flop back and forth between Raiden Shogun doing all the damage, Noelle doing all the damage and healing up and protecting, and back and forth with two supports in the party. And it's a sight to behold. I love it. It's one of my most favorite teams to play in Genshin. And I kind of have a hard problem not playing that team because it makes everything so easy. Another potent Geo character to use with Noelle is going to be Zhongli. Could be a little bit overkill with the shield strength from having Zhongli and Noelle in your party at the same time. But if you want the Geo Resonance, you'll want to mess with the other ones. He's very good as well, because not only do you get a backup shielder or even a main shielder in the form of Zhongli, but you're going to get the 20% reduction to physical Geo resist, all of that stuff, as well boosting up your Noelle damage. And you're also going to have Resonant Waves, which is going to increase the amount of shield strength that your Noelle is receiving while out there doing all the damage with Zhongli's shield on. So it's a very, very difficult and tanky team for enemies to get through, and it's one of the mainstays for some of the Geo Noelle teams in Genshin Impact, especially if you want to be like super lazy and fall asleep with all these shields on. And then obviously Albedo, we can't forget this guy as a 5-star Geo character. You throw down his elemental skill, you do free damage, you pop his elemental burst, you do more damage. He randomly generates Geo particles. It's all good. Free damage, a little bit of support, a little bit of particle generation, all in the background while Noelle's in the field doing all of the rest of the damage and being the actual hyper carry for your party. Look into him. I like him a lot. He's pretty dang good. And while Noelle doesn't really have a whole lot of elemental reactions she can take advantage of, you can also try her out with Yelan as well, because you're going to take advantage of her Ascension Adapt with Ease, which is going to increase your damage bonus even further. So you can combine this damage bonus with someone like Yunjin and the Redhorn Stone Thresher and get all these extra bonus damages added onto your normal attack damage and really have that damage bonus hit the ceiling in Genshin Impact. It's a sight to behold. I know you might want to use her in some other teams, but you can try her out with Noelle every once in a while. I think you're going to like it a lot if you do. If there's a build or a weapon or a team composition that you're using out there and you want to throw it down below, go ahead and do so. Start a conversation. We're all here to have fun and learn and do a bunch of cool stuff while we're playing Genshin Impact. If you want to see more stuff like this, come back, hit that subscribe button. For 2023, we're doing a lot of cool stuff. New player guides, old guides, all that stuff's coming back. So check it out down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Is Noelle a viable carry in Genshin Impact? Of course she is. We're going to show you exactly how to do that, what you need to arm yourself with, characters, weapons, artifacts, everything that's changing in 2.3 as well as 2.4 in the future of 2021 leading into 2022. But before we get into specifics, we need to talk about this because so many players get this wrong to the day still. Why don't I do damage? You need to level both your normal attack as well as your sweeping time. Sweeping time, the damage multiplier here, isn't where all your damage is coming from. This is from the activation damage. This is going to give you that defense to attack bonus, the geo damage, the long AoE radius on your charge attacks and your normal attacks. However, the damage multiplier from everything you do afterwards is your normal attack. So if you have your normal attack at level 1 still trying to do damage with this character, stop, go farm up the books, level this up. You can see it's crowned on this account and you're going to be doing a lot more damage compared to a level 1 talent. And obviously level your shield as well. It's going to give you more additional healing, higher shields. It's just a wonderful thing. So she does want to have all of her skills leveled. Don't skip out on any of them. Now 2.3 has already changed a few things and a lot of people still ask me this as well. Should I farm up the new artifact set? Is it worth it? 100%, no shot. You should definitely do 100%. You should. So this is going to give you 54% defense as well as 24% geo damage. This is going to outweigh the other two things that get asked about all the time, right? You have the retracing bolide set and the gladiator set. The gladiator set gives me that 18% attack as well as 35% normal attack damage. And then you have the retracing bolide set, a little bit of shield strength. And then if you have a shield up as well, 40% in both normal and charge attack damage. The defense percent, 54%, which is wild, outweighs the little bit of extra damage bonus up you'll get from the other sets. This has 24% geo, so you have 35 and 40 in comparison with the gladiator set or the retracing bolide set. The defense percent in conjunction with the geo damage is just going to make you do wonders of more damage. And as far as main set subsets are concerned, we're here to do two things: be a tanky bruiser girl, heal up, do damage with that defense to attack ratio, crit, all that cool stuff. So we have a goblet here. Geo damage goblet is still your best friend. Don't go for the defense, don't go for attack. Geo damage goblet. And then we're gonna go for a circlet that either has crit damage or crit chance. You want to have a large amount of the other one as the subset. So if you have a crit damage circlet, you want to have a ton of crit chance in your subset. If you have a crit chance circlet, you want to have a ton of crit damage in your subset there if you can swing that one there. The sands here is going to be a defense percent sands. Crit chance, crit damage is what we need to do and aim for there. The flower and feather, crit chance, crit damage, a little bit of energy recharge, as well as some defense percent could be a good thing there. So you can see my substats on my artifacts here, a little bit of a balance between them all. Haven't gotten all the best rolls on everything yet. You know, this flower's looking pretty spicy, but then you have like stuff like this circlet that looks a little sad out there. But at the end of the day, our attributes here on this character, we have 70% geo damage with max stacks of the new 4-piece. We have 67 crit rate and 182 crit damage with a nice 133 energy recharge, and we also have just under 2,000 defense here. Now, how do you gain stacks? I want to make sure that you guys know about this real quick. You gain stacks passively while off the battlefield or if you're doing geo damage. You also will lose a stack every 6 seconds if you're not gaining a stack. So the only way for Noelle, in summary, to lose stacks is to have her in the active slot and have her not really do geo damage. So you'll see a stack is lost every 6 seconds. However, for you to go ahead and hit an enemy with your shield, with your elemental burst, that's good to go. You can also put her back in the back line and you will accrue 1 stack every 3 seconds for free while she's not the active character. As you can see, we'll swap back in and we'll start actively losing stacks from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 again. Now, when we get into weapon selection, once again for Noelle, there's going to be still 2 big 4-star weapons for her, and it's the same 2, Serpent Spine as well as the White Blind. Now, the White Blind is still the best defensive oriented option, bigger shields, bigger healing from her elemental skill. However, if you're going for even more damage than before, the Serpent Spine, due to how it interacts with the new set, because you already get a bunch of defense from the new set, you sort of have diminishing returns from having defense on the White Blind, defense stacks from the White Blind stacks, and then defense from the new 4-piece set with the Huss set. Having the Serpent Spine gives you even more damage percent bonus, up from 30 to 50% depending on your refinement rank, and it also gives you that nice 27 crit rate, which makes it a little bit easier for you to build there. On top of that, we're also going to have the new 5-star Red Horn Thresher, which wants a ton of crit chance in your substats, in your main stats, as well in your artifacts. We're looking for 60-70% crit chance to really maximize the Red Horn Storm Thresher when it is arriving with the Arataki Ito banner. But if you could pull that off, that weapon's going to be fantastic as well. So you have 3 solid options. The Blind is going to be the worst, followed by the Spine, followed by, if you have the substats to support it, the good old Red Horn Storm Thresher. Another often discussed topic is constellations. There's 3 very important constellations for Noelle. The first one is Got Your Back. This is going to allow you to heal with 100% proc rate as your elemental burst and your skill are both activated. This is going to make her a healing extraordinaire. If you're just starting out in Genshin, you kind of want to have this one to reduce your RNG to 0 so she can always consistently heal your party. The other one here is the C6 Must Be Spotless. This is going to increase that defense to attack percent bonus by an additional 50%. And then the other one we want to talk about here is C5 actually gives you 3 free levels of Sweeping Time. So if you go ahead and check out my talent here, Sweeping Time is at level 13, and it gives you an 85% at 13 defense to attack ratio. If you don't have the C5 here, you're gonna have 72% defense to attack ratio. And then on top of this number right here, C6 is gonna give you an additional 50%. So currently right now I have 135% defense to attack ratio. So if I go out here and pop my elemental burst here, you're gonna see that I go up to 3,858. Well, I'm getting 135% of my defense added to my attack there. If you don't have C5 or C6, you're gonna be missing out on around half of that defense to attack ratio bonus, 72% instead of 135%. So you'd be getting roughly, instead of a big whopping like over 2,000 attack multiplier there, you'll be getting like a 1.3, 1.4k, 1.5k attack multiplier depending on your defense there. So does it make you have less attack? For sure. I'd be sitting around 3,000 attack if I wasn't C5 or C6 instead of like 3,800 attack. Can you still do a main carry Noelle with it? You're gonna do less damage. Obviously, you're gonna have about as much attack as a hefty 5-star big character would with a good build, someone like Eula, you know, out there with 3,000 attack. You're not going to have the 4K, 4.5K that Noelle is going to be known for if you don't have those 2 constellations. Well, synopsis, can you do it? Yes. Should you do it? If you want to. How much weaker are you? It's not going to obliterate the build. If you're just starting, it is definitely something that you can go out there and aim for. Because she's not just a main carry, she can be, but she's also a healer and your sustainer, as we're about to find out as I go into these bad boys right here. So the wolves here, they're going to be putting on the good old HP down over and over and over and over. So let's lessen the burden on our team here. So another way to actually heal a little bit faster in AoE situations is to spin to win with your shield up, and you can see bloop, 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 bloop. Good to go there. We can pop this off again. Thank you, energy recharge. And you can see we went down by 3 stacks because I was talking in the mic, but we lost our elemental burst, put it back up, good to go once again. And we sat there not healing for a while, and we're back up on everyone, and another troll artifact to boot. When it comes to Noelle team compositions, there's one very important thing you want her to have if she's intended to do damage, and that's gonna be Enduring Rock, the ×2 Geo Resonance, shield strength up, as well as damage increase in Geo Resist down. This is a double damage increaser for your Geo characters. As of right now, these 3 characters are my favorite characters to support Noelle with. We have Resist down with Zhongli. We have off the field damage with Albedo, who is also insane in 2.3. Well, let's not forget Raiden Shogun, crystallization, free damage with her E, as well as allowing us to battery the rest of our team, which is quite awesome. If you don't have access to some of these characters, don't worry, there's some nice stand-ins. You don't have access to Raiden Shogun, but you still want a battery? Oh, the Electro Traveler is so good. We've done a video on this way back in the day, back when Inazuma first launched. Sacrificial Sword on the Electro Traveler, good battery regen, can sustain Noelle pretty much on her own with 120-ish, 130% energy recharge on Noelle. And if you don't have either of these 2 Geo characters, don't worry, you can always put in a Ningguang as well, who does fantastic single target damage in a ×2 Geo damage composition. She also has some nice energy regeneration with the Jade Screen, especially if you have the constellation where the Jade Screen will reset the cooldown when it is destructed. Also, Jade Screen buffs up damage of characters who pass through it by 12% if it's Geo damage. And in addition to Ningguang, if you're not using the Electro Traveler in your team, you can also use the Geo Traveler, drops boulders, very low cooldown, also pretty good at generating good old Geo elemental particles to battery your Noelle at the same time. And in the future, we're gonna get 2 more 4-star Geo characters that are gonna pair very well with Noelle. They're gonna be none other than Goro, who gives big defense buffs, and if you get the constellation for it, crit damage to your Geo characters as well. And then we're gonna have Yunjin, who is going to increase your normal attack damage and add damage based on her own defense to your character's normal attacks as well. So you're going to be buffing up Noelle's normal attacks, which is where all of her damage comes from, by a significant margin with either of these 2 characters. So look for them in 2.3 as well as 2.4 when those are launched in Genshin Impact. And I'm highly anticipating both of those characters, so we're going to be playing with them when we get access to them.
Hey guys, it's Hao here. Today we're going over SS tier rated Noelle. We're going to give you everything that I've worked on with this character. When I saw this character coming into Genshin Impact, I was like, I'm going to make that character as good as possible. And you can make her absolutely fantastic. If there's one thing you take away from this video, because you may have seen her rated really low on the tier list, take this one thing away. A lot of those tier lists out there, they might not be giving you the full information. They might not be looking fully in depth on these different characters. Some of them might be rated on Constellation 6, some of them might be rated on Constellation 0. You don't really know how strong a character is going to be getting when you get those constellations, when you don't get those constellations. If you're reading these tier lists and they're not giving you full in-depth, what gear sets make them really good? Why are they really low? Why are they really high? What are their constellations? If you're not getting all that information, you might be getting a little bit of a misinformation on that. So let's check out everything I've been able to piece together on Noelle, and she still can get higher. I have been putting a lot of work and love in her. As you can see, we have 2200 defense, 1142 attack. And let's check out her weapon. We are using the White Blind still. This is level 80 on my level 80 Noelle. 47.2% defense, and we're using this because the on-hit attack and defense increase. I can still hopefully get some refinements to this one from the weekly world bosses if I get more of those Claymore, Archetype, Prototype materials. I can drop and get some more of these. Now the artifacts set here, we went in and we got some good stuff. So just like in the build guide video, if you've seen that, using all the same knowledge that there is there. But we're doing here, we have plus 20, some good stuff here. We're focusing on defense percent, and my weakest one right now is this Gobble, the Summer Nights Water Balloon. We're using this set right now. The 2-piece gives you 35% shield strength, but the 4-piece, while you're protected by a shield, either Noelle's elemental skill or one of the crystallized elemental shields that you generate from doing geo damage on another enemy, this is going to increase your normal and charge attack damage by 40%. So the set bonus for her is amazing. She's going to be doing fantastic damage, and keep in mind, she's your support / healer type role in your party. So not only is she doing supports and heals, which you'll see, but she's going to be doing some very good damage as well. Other stuff that we are using here, we are using this offset piece, Gladiator's Triumph. I got really lucky on it, right? Defense percent, main stat, crit hit damage, secondary, as well as attack percent. Attack percent isn't the craziest thing on her. What you'd really like in the end, what I can go back and try to get better gear for her in the future, crit hit chance, crit hit damage, defense percent. That is really strong. Energy recharge is also pretty great for filling up her elemental burst, but there's also a trick that you guys might not know about the elemental energy recharge system that we'll go over in this video as well. Same thing here, energy recharge 23%, defense percent main stat. The flower here, that we're using is going to be 22% defense substat. Absolutely fantastic. A little bit of crit hit rate in there for you as well. And then the feather here, a little bit of defense percent, some crit hit rate, a little bit of elemental mastery, not all that great, but then it's a little bit of attack percent as well. So pretty fantastic stuff here for her as far as the team composition goes. We're going to be taking in another earth unit. This is to help her energy recharge, as well as give her the 2-person earth element resonance bonus, which is going to increase your geo attack damage as well. So let's go ahead in here and check out the triple S Noelle. We have a lot more work to do. I want to get more crit hit chance on her. I want to get some crit hit damage on her as well. That's going to take her above and beyond. And for her total stats right now, things I still need to work on, as you can see, a lot of defense, a little bit of attack. We do have 21% crit hit chance. I want to see that higher for more consistent critical hit damage, and I want a little bit more extra critical hit damage. So if you can, at the end of the game, max it out, you're looking for defense percent, geo percent, critical hit chance, critical hit damage. If you get a little bit of attack percent, energy recharge on top of that, that's going to help you out. But there's a trick that we can do to manipulate how much energy we get while we're playing Genshin Impact with swapping your characters. I'll show you that as we get in here, guys. So a little bit of TLDR on the energy recharge system as we're going in here. When you use an elemental skill on an enemy, you'll see the little particles fly out, right? Now, those particles are not absorbed automatically by whoever used the skill. You can swap your characters around, and if you swap your character, those particles will go into the new character. The way that this works is there's 2 different bonuses. Every different elemental particle has its own element, right? Wind, pyro, whatever it is, geo. You get a bonus for matching the element. You also get a bonus for being the active character. So if you are saying using the main traveler's skill, you drop the little comment on them and you swap over to Noelle real quick. She's going to get the active bonus as well as the elemental matching bonus. Now, that being said, you can also use like Venti's Q, you can use Xiangli's Q, whoever it is. If you're trying to build up anyone's elemental burst a little bit faster, when you hit someone with an elemental skill, make sure you swap to that character really quickly. So let's see if we can set this up here. Let's see what we can do here. We're not using any food, anything like that. Let's see if we can do the cheese arena. Hopefully my rock doesn't blow up. Sometimes it does. Sometimes I knock myself off and it kind of... We're hitting for... We're not stacking. Was that 3K, 4K crit Serenos? And then the big damage that you'll see if you've been on the stream, twitch.tv/howls, if this blows up, you can get up to 20K crits in it. Now, we are fighting slimes, so this is a little bit different here. Some of the other stuff that we can fight, you'll see we'll be doing even more damage. 4K non-crit there on that guy, so our stuff's worn off here, so we're going to get some elemental recharge. I should have done that, as you can see, and we are pretty much good to go here. We'll swap over, pop this alt, pop this here, and swap back, and we'll get... boom, that crystal there. Good to go there. That way you're not sitting there, smacking the monster. Remember, Noelle here, that guy got hit for 7K on a spin. That guy, she just can absolutely decimate. So what you're seeing here, this is Noelle. She's your backline, sort of like support healer type character. But she can do so many things for you guys. And remember, we're C6, so we're getting extended time. You can see that our timer is gone, but every time you destroy a monster, get a kill with her elemental burst, it's going to extend the timer as well. So we're drop this rock here. That's why we're kind of using the geo character. Boom, and we're good to go again. So that's what I'm saying. If the one thing you can take away from this, guys, is a lot of characters out there are being extremely underrated. And I'm kind of like not really paying attention here. She does do a lot of damage, more so with her elemental, her burst up with... Where'd this guy go? With her charge attack. Oh no, we put him on top. We messed up with the rock. Okay, the rock broke anyway. That's fine. But with their charge attack, that's really what you want to be doing there, because you're going to have that extra charge attack damage not only from the set, but you're going to have the charge attack damage from... Where'd she go again? I hate this kind of enemy. With her charge attack up, 6K! 6K for my healer. 6K. Nutty. Nutty. With her C2, her Constellation 2 gives you an extra 15% charge attack damage. So if you have some other stuff to be doing, that's what I'm saying. I need that extra crit hit rate, a little bit of crit hit damage, and this would be an amazing thing to do. She's gonna teleport away. Oh, I'm just not gonna hit her. We'll lock her in the corner here real quick like that. Pop this off, and boom, gone. So we had a pretty high uptime. We only have 23% energy charge on her. And that was pretty quick. That was pretty fast there with her elemental burst. Just do 9K on the spin to win. I've gotten up to 25k. I do believe we were doing the wolf boss on stream. There's a lot of crazy stuff that you can do with this character. Hopefully we can get something good here while we're not. We're on camera, so we're not getting any we're not gonna get any of those 5 stars. Let's go ahead and check out another fight. So we're gonna go fight my favorite spot, this beach here. Every day I come here to fight these big bad ancient construct guys. We're gonna group them all together and we're just gonna drop our stuff down. We're gonna have official this time with conjunction of Noelle. We're gonna have crystallized lightning procs over and over and over, and that's gonna be a huge help to us. Hopefully we don't get hit by this. That's okay, Venti. That's fine. That's fine, boss. You're good. You're good, dude. You're good. We're gonna fill up our ult here with our girl here. Look at that, almost filled. All right, good to go. We're gonna pop this, and then we're going to pop this, and we're just gonna spin. And so I'm currently using her as my. Look at this. Wow, 4K, 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 4K. Oof. We already have our ult back up. Like this guy's around. We have our ult ready to go again. It's crazy. 6K. That's why I'm talking about. I need that extra. I need that extra critical hit chance. Let's just see what we can do here. Let's see if we can force this shield to break on him. See how much it hits for. Maybe it'll crit. No, it didn't go through. He couldn't get through the shield. He literally couldn't get through the shield, but I've had that shield crit for up to 24, 25k AoE, because it's 400% attack damage, guys. And that's what I was talking about in the Noelle build guide. It's one of the hardest things to get to work on her correctly, but if you can do it, it's really not that hard, but you have to think about it, because you want this to activate the breastplate to either go away or be broken while you have your elemental burst up, because you're going to be getting all of that extra stat from your elemental burst. We got up to like 4,000, 4,500. We had 4,800, I think, at one point, and we broke 5K with some food. It's a good time out there, but remember, if there's one thing you take away from this video, it's that if you put the work into the character you like, a lot of characters out there on tier lists are super underrated. And yeah, sure, there's gonna be more characters out there who can do more damage because she is Geo. There's no like elemental combinations that she can do, but she's in your team as your backline healer type character, and then she provides this great burst damage and survivability with her elemental burst, as well as her healing through her elemental skill. We're healing for, as you saw in the video, over 1,000 per tick while we're just spinning to win out there in the game. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do, and like I said, the big damage comes from, as well, the big burst when her shield expires or is broken. If you have your elemental burst running, because you're going to be getting all of that defense as attack and the skills off of your attack, you're going to have your attack plus your defense, basically. We get up to 4,000, 4,500. I think we broke 5k on stream with food. We hit a boss. We hit the wolf boss, I think. World level 5, I think we're on right now, because we're 41. We hit the boss for like 25k with just that shield. And this is your healer. This is your backline support character. So she could do significant damage for you, especially in area of effect situations. If you're building a team that needs some sort of character to get out in the front lines and do damage for you, you can make her do excellent stuff, especially if you know how to utilize the energy recharge system in Genshin Impact, swapping between your elemental skills to keep different characters' elemental skills up and their elemental bursts filled, and you just rotate through, as you saw with Fischl and Xiangling in this last instance. They're not even on the battlefield. They're doing their thing, and then Noelle's on the battlefield doing her thing. There's just a huge amount of AoE damage. We took those golems down in literally seconds there, guys. So that's going to be it for us, guys. Hopefully you found this interesting. You want to see more Genshin Impact content, obviously, here's the channel. Do like the video if you did like it, but only if you liked it. If you want to see more stuff, subscribe. So until then, guys, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.
So the Akasha system.
We are using human wisdom to create a god.
Not that Akasha system. This Akasha system is a system that can look at your character profile and look at the artifacts you have equipped to your characters and tell you, based off your artifacts alone, how much damage that you could potentially do across a variety of different teams in Genshin Impact. When I started Genshin Impact about 2 years ago, there was one character that caught my eye immediately. That's going to be Noelle. Whether it was because I heard people dog on her about how she's useless or underpowered, or with dedication and hard work, we eventually found some artifacts to really push her over the edge. Nope. Oh, send it. Come on, send it. Send it. Just one more. Just one more. Listen, feed this plus 20. We're gonna get a great one. And we finally landed in the top 3% of all Noelles in Genshin Impact. And guys, as Akasha's based off of not your weapons, but just your artifacts, it's not the Redhorn Stone Thresh R5 that I placed with. No, it was actually the Serpent Spine that we placed with here. So I want to see if we can take our Akasha system artifact set, explain it a little bit, and also run it into the first thing that gave my Noelle build troubles back in the day, because they're back. The Mangukenki brothers return in this abyss. Oh my god. So is it possible to take this build and beat the Kenki brothers in 2023, back with millions of health, or are we gonna fail in timeout? And there's only one qualification for this challenge. We need to beat it with 3 stars. When maximize your damage as Noelle, if you want to break the damage formula down, you can see the parts that she's good at and bad at that you need to focus on. The damage formula looks something like this. You're going to have your attacking stat, which for Noelle is actually going to be attack, just bonus attack, because she does gain attack based off of her defense. The second part is going to be her skill multiplier, which is going to be her normal attack multiplier. Then you get to factor in your crit chance, your crit damage, as well as your damage bonus up. Now, Noelle specializes in getting very high attack based off of her defense, especially at Constellation 6 with Must Be Spotless and a full talent level build with a max sweeping time. This is going to give you 135% of your defense as bonus attack, enabling you to hit 4,500, 5,000 attack in certain circumstances. But what we really need to focus on when we're going into artifacts is our crit chance and our crit damage, as well as our damage percent bonuses if available. So we're always going to be wearing a geo damage bonus goblet, because that's something from the damage formula that we can really affect here, and it's something that's very difficult to gain access to. The other damage percent bonus that's going to be available in this build is none other than the Serpent Spine. As long as we don't take damage, we can maintain 5 stacks of this, and that R5 to be 50% bonus damage. Husk of Opulent Dreams, it does give us defense percent, which is nice. That's going to turn into even more attack. But the 4 set here is also going to give us 24% geo damage if we also achieve 4 stacks here. On top of that, it also does give 24% additional defense for a grand total of 54% defense and 24% geo damage just from the set bonuses. Now, we already talked about how we have a geo damage goblet main, but what about the other stuff? Now, we need to focus on crit chance and crit damage across both main stat and substats for our artifacts. You want as much crit chance as possible and as much crit damage as possible. Defense is very good, but not as good as the other two. So if you can find some defense laying around on substats for our gear, we'll go after it, but not over crit chance or crit damage. In between the Serpent Spine and our artifact loadout, we're going to be able to achieve a very nice 99.8% crit rate with 142% crit damage. And while we've achieved basically everything humanly possible to boost our damage stat-wise on Noelle, there is another character she's very good at, because while we are focusing on crit chance and crit damage and damage percent bonus on her with her gear and weapon selection, defense percent bonus increase and flat defense increase can come from our boy Goro, who has Inazaka all-around defense, which is going to give us a flat defense bonus amount. Talent level 11 gives you 392, and then you also have Heedless of the Wind and the Weather, which gives a 25% defense increase for all party members for 12 seconds when you use his elemental burst, Juga forward unto victory. His elemental skill also is going to give us 15% more geo damage bonus. So if we go and return back to the damage formula, well, Goro's going to give us bonus defense, which increases our attack. He also has bonus geo damage. And then if you have access to Constellation 6, we are going to get 40% more crit damage as well. But this enough is not alone to boost up our damage where we need it to be in order to beat the Mangukenki brothers. No. Looking at the damage formula, I kind of cheated. There's one more way to boost Noelle's damage in a huge way. She already has giant attack, crit chance, and crit damage, as well as massive damage bonus up. That's the entire damage formula, so what are we gonna do? Well, we're gonna cheat. We're gonna use a Yunjin. Yunjin's ability here, the Elemental Burst Cliff Breaker's banner, adds damage equivalent to her defense to your active character's normal attacks. And here's the sneaky thing. This flat damage and the way that it's placed in the damage formula means that it's going to be affected by the crit chance, crit damage, and damage percent bonuses of your active character, which means that all of that crit chance, all that crit damage, and all that damage percent bonus we have on Noelle is actually going to affect this flat damage Yunjin's giving us. On top of that, Yunjin also can give 12% bonus damage up to normal attacks from her Constellation 2. And while not a part of the formula, her Constellation Generation 6 also is going to give us increased attack speed for our normal attacks as well. So as far as boosting our damage, we're done, correct? Offensive wise, yes, but we also are fighting against monsters, and enemies have defenses and resistances. Enter the Geo Resonance Enduring Rot, giving us 15% increased damage again, which goes into our damage bonus, but also reducing enemies' resistances to Geo damage by 20%. And one more small trick, we also are going to be including Zhongli in this team to decrease enemy resistances to all elements, including Geo, by another 20%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, chat. This is it. This is the build. I can't believe we got here. Almost 100% crit chance, 142 crit damage on Noelle. We don't really care about the energy recharge. We have enough batteries on our characters, right? We're using Yunjin, C6. We got some talent levels here. She's on the Favonius Lance. We also have access to Goro, who is also going to be on a Favonius Warbow. We're going to be making sure that we use these skills pretty much off cooldown to generate as many particles and feed them to Noelle as possible, which is why we can get away with our very low energy recharge. Zhongli's nothing special. He's just kind of hanging out. He's just on that big HP battery build. Talk about his Mantis Wine as always. I do not have an updated Goro build, no, but he's also going to be on Opulent Dreams. He's got pretty much main set defense. He's got healing bonus because he doesn't really need a ton of defense. But Yunjin, though, we do have a new updated build guide for Yunjin. Quick overview here also on the Huss set. And then we are main defense everywhere. Defense, defense, defense. We have a little bit of energy recharge, giant defense substats in our flower and our feather as well. And I think before we factor in any of the stacks, anything cool going on, she is sitting at 2,890 defense. So her defense can skyrocket up over 3K, well into the stratosphere, so we can get a lot of flat damage for our Noelle. Now with the build complete and showcase, we're ready to go take on the Kenki boys. Before that, we wanted to check out some last minute doubts and try her out against Raiden Shogun. All right, so she's ready. This is the best we're ever going to be. This is the best we're ever going to be with the Serpent Spine build. I haven't done the Raiden daily yet. Let's try out this team. This isn't the Mono Geo team, but I forget the mechanics of Raiden. I don't know if Mono Geo can do it. I feel like we need elemental reactions for Raiden. I'm not sure.
This world, a fleeting shadow.
Ooh, fleet the shadow, bro. All right, Noelle. No, dude. Oh, wow. I mean, these numbers are lower, but we don't have Goro. We don't have Zhongli. What are we doing? What? We have to defeat them all? Go, Yunjin. Oh, wait. You can't. Go.
Thunder.
Oh, get countered, bro. All right, carry me, Raiden.
A fleeting shadow.
I have a shield. You don't have one. All right. I'm not doing the damages.
This bond is eternal.
I feel like we're not going to be doing damage anymore. I don't know what's happening. Field, nothing for you, fam. No, what are the mechanics of this boss? She's taking negative damage.
Calamity.
Oh, yes. Brilliant. We got there. Oh, I have no energy, bro. I have none.
In my hand.
Generate some particles? Help? Someone help? We'll heal up. No time. It's fine. Noelle will carry us, like always. Here we go, dude. Raiden's going back to full life. No problem. Look at her HP. 53K, yo. Ooh. Is this the Serpent Spine? Is that the Serpent Spine? What a build. And with that questionable performance, it was time to see if we could actually beat the Kenki brothers. I don't know. Guys, that Raiden fight lasted forever. Maybe Mono Geo will bring it up. We weren't really doing a whole lot. I don't know. I'm nervous. The Kenkis? The Kenkis now with millions of health? I don't think we can do it. We barely beat Raiden. That was kind of a mess. Oh no, a bunch of Whopper Flowers and Abyss Mages in a Mono Geo team? That sounds terrible, dude. All right, I'm a believer, dude. I'm a Raiden believer. Bennett, come on, dude. All right, coming in my Bennett ult. Dude, I feel like Bennett ult lasts 2 seconds sometimes. We're good gamers, but we don't need to crit here. Go, hit him with the damages. Invincibility frame, easy, easy. Big boy. Infinite Pyro Aura, man. It's messing me up. What was the number? All right, we got to cheat the system. You could argue that having her in the back to gain access to the Opulent Dream stack first is the correct thing to do. It might be, but this way we can get max stacks of Serpent Spine waiting. Swap her out to Zhongli, get all the enemies to come around. I feel like this might be the play, right? Come over to my domain. Yes, by the wall. Cool. All right. We just need to drop everything. It should be 4. It should be max, right? These. Ooh, okay. 51. Not bad. Okay, now here's the arc. Do we spin on these? Is it easier to break if we spin? I feel like no. We also don't generate from Favonius weapons on these, which is awful. Maybe they'll drop the meteor on them? Possibly? Deleted. Feed me. All right. Okay. Particle. Yes. Easy. He's one over there. Hanging out. Bye. All right. Time to go to work. No, freeze, dude. Stop freezing, bro. We don't freeze here, bro. Yeah. Wasting my alt time with your stupid freezing, bruh. Oh, yeah, dude. The freeze does so hard. Gimme. Dude, there's no way. No, bro. I just need to make sure that I'm constantly generating particles. Yeah, dude, you're super cool. Chug it away. Chug away, Mr. Guy. Mr. Guy. We're gonna pop everything because we should be able to funnel in. Yep. Everything in this game loves to just run away. Waste time. Oh my God. Look at that. Speaking of, oh my God, he went away from me again. Just die, bro. This is 48 seconds, huh? I'm not sure, but we'll find out. How about that? All right, let's go. Carve them up. 30 seconds. You know what? I think, listen, are these the freezers? No freeze for you, bro. No freeze for you. No freeze for you. Oh, easy. Okay, I don't understand, bro. They were like hitting me with the world, basically. Why are they all spread out? What are you guys doing, man? What is happening here? Why are you taking a scenic route over to the corner, bruh? Dude, if Bennett dies, I don't care. All right, just get him, dude. Just crit. My scorpion guy over here is just crazy, bro. He is with it, and we are not doing good. Is he down? I don't know what that enemy was, but now it's just the Kenkis. All right, okay, we got everyone but Noelle, huh? Let's try to get them all here. This should be enough, I would hope. All right, we're cleaving them all. Hit every Kenki at the same time. I feel like my attack's really slow. All right, we'll put up Zhongli's shield, and we should be able to pop everyone's stuff again. Oh, baby. Oh, dude, where are you going? Tanky boys. Nah, shield, reshield. We don't care. Our attack speed is super slow. And then the final ult to seal it. Let's go. Oh, man, that bird was harder than the Kenkis, I swear. 93K. Oh, full 98K, bro. That's almost 100,000 damage. Don't make me. Was that 110K? So yeah, we're gonna be doing infinite damage. Now, this is gonna be with Yunjin here. If you haven't seen the build guide video on Yunjin yet and why I'm building her the way that I am, go check that one out. But for a quick recap for you ladies and gentlemen, I'm on 4-piece Husk of Opulent Dream set here. And we're going to be going defense sands, defense goblet, defense circlet, the trifecta. We're also going to be looking for crit rate in the substats and a little bit of defense percent in the substats between the flower and the feather. And if you get some crit damage, cool, that's fine. If you want to increase the damage of your E, but like I said, that is all in that previous video. Now, we are using a level 1 Favonius Lance here for the windfall effect because we want to generate particles for our team. You don't really gain a bunch of damage from her elemental burst here because it scales entirely off of defense, and there's not a lot of defensive polearms in the game, aka there's 0 of them. So go check out that for that recap there. Aim for around like 50-ish% crit rate so you can proc that windfall effect. 156% plus energy recharge is kind of all you need there, which is why I can kind of get away with a level 1 good old Favonius Lance. Now, the girl we're using here, Noelle, we are also popping off with 4-piece Husk set, and we're gonna follow the constraints for every character in the game. Crit chance, crit damage, and damage percent up. So our Husk set here, we're gonna be using a geo damage goblet, a defense percent sands, and crit damage / crit chance circlet here, depending on the subsets for the rest of your artifacts there and what weapon that you're using. Aim for a 2-to-1 ratio as always, because mathematically that's just what you do. And then defense, crit chance, crit damage, and the substats as well. Now, weapon selection, her best weapon obviously is the Redhorn Stone Thresher, but also beyond that, Serpent Spine got a little bit of a buff here because this damage percent bonus up works with Yunjin's elemental burst. Because Yunjin's burst adds damage to your current active character's normal attack based on her defense. However, it takes into account your current active character's crit chance, crit damage, as well as damage percent bonus up, which is going to be a pretty wild thing. So that 50% or 30% between R1 and R5 spine, that is going to be adding a significant amount of damage because Cliffbreaker's banner adds a raw amount of damage based on Yunjin's defense. However, it doesn't factor in Yunjin's crit chance, crit damage, damage percent bonus up. It factors in
whatever character is doing the damage. So something like the good old Serpent Spine here, this 30 to 50% damage bonus up will apply not only to your own damage, but also Yunjin's as well, making it a fantastic weapon and puts it just that much more further ahead than the White Blind, because the White Blind gives you attack and defense, which is more attack, but it doesn't have damage bonus up. So if you have access to the spine, definitely use it even at R1 spine versus R5 White Blind now if you're pairing Noelle with Yunjin. And so we're just gonna smash so hard with this squad, I don't have any words for it. So let's just take these guys down. Goro's doing Goro things, getting hit a bunch. You wanna maximize Yunjin's burst uptime, obviously. So let's just go in here, let's do this stuff here. Generate some particles, throw this out, why not? We need to get through the good old Fatui Shield. Fatui Shield once again. 93k! Oh! Arachaki Ito! Look out! We got the brethren here, so let's go ahead, let's do this, pop this in Noelle, cool. And we don't have our full stacks yet, so just plop this down, plop a little Goro thing out, plop this. Maybe summon a little Albedo, come in here, activate Noelle, seems cool. This guy's chilling, spawn the next wave down here, throw this out, activate Yunjin, and then go back to Noelle. 58k. Oh, 60k, you love to see it. I don't even know if we met the criteria for 64k. This is stupid. This is stupid, and I have my burst back. This is dumb. Oh, yes. I'm just gonna hit you. Oh, okay. My burst ran out, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, we got the final challenge for this tier. It's whatever it is. This is over. I'm gonna pop this and bring in Noelle. Got the fireflies flying around. It's all good. Pop this after Noelle's burst because it gives us more uptime of Yunjin's 12 seconds. Yunjin's burst has a 12-second duration. Noelle's is up to 25 seconds. So you definitely want to do that. Apparently that wore off. We're big sad. We're big sad. It's so sad. We have the burst. Dude, this double energy regen, double Favonius weapons build. Oh, it's gonna be a slight offshoot. We drop the legendary Albedo for a little extra action here for Raiden Shogun. And so let's just get in here. This guy's got big Geo res, but we don't care. I'm gonna pop this off. Generate some particles. Oh, whoop, swap over. All right, very small damages. Very small damage against the giant Geo resist guy. Very sad. All right, you know what? Raiden Shogun. This is a Raiden Shogun showcase right here. Hold on, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Don't see it, don't look. We do have all of our bursts back up though, which is fine because we have 2 fav weapons on our supports. 3k, sad. Very sad and very savage to me. Just get out of here. All right, hold on. Let's generate some particles, yeah? Feed him Noelle, 2000 IQ. All right, yeah. What's up? What's up? The ultimate ER team. We got Shogun and then 2 fav weapon characters. Honestly, this is gonna be just a little bit of Raiden Shogun action here. Now, Yunjin doesn't work super well with her because she counts as element of burst damage attacks. Very sad, I know. All right, now we can pop over. Let's drop this. Drop this. Yes, sir. You do what it is you think you need to do there. Go on ahead and do it. Girl, you are done. Where are you going? Oh, behind me? You in all... See ya. See ya in another lifetime. Oh, not a perfect counter. Sad. We're bad. Let's just use this. Let's just go now. Whatever. Chalk him up. We don't have Albedo for the extra damage. This guy was flying around, doing whatever. Noelle, 90 something K? 70K? Damage is dumb wild. Now, we're gonna have a little bit of a sad time here, okay? We're gonna have a little sad time due to the effect of big ol' abyss guy, right? Big ol' abyss guy's doing big ol' abyss things. But we can kill him and then drain his shield as fast as possible. Oof. Oh, this does not get old. He's already down for the count. He's going through his phase change. He's looking around. He's calling for the Power Rangers to back him up. He is taking emotional damage right now. Emotional damage. So we're gonna have to go into Raiden here, eat a shield up, which is why she's in the party. But you know, I could Noelle here. Oh no, this is chamber 3, dude. Still absorb. A little snooze fest. Snoozing. Oh, everyone's favorite tower defense. The old boogeyman is back. Let's just get in here. Pop this. Throw this down. Activate Noelle. Throw it up. Oof. Already looking a little bit sad for our opponents here. All right, what are we hitting for? What? Yo, Hilly Churl, Billy Churl, bro. I'm sorry. We're Oh, where you going, bro? Wow. Oh, you're too tall. I'll hit you with this. Boom. Oh, 94. Oh, we got the young slimes. 70. I cannot get over this. I simply cannot. Oh, I popped my burst before I popped Gross. I made a mistake. Was that 80K? No, it wasn't. I did not hit him for 80K through his shield defense. Oh, everyone's favorite. These guys. I love them. Just popping this. Let's throw this down. Let's get this going. And then we could fully rock and roll. Full 98K, bro. That's almost a 100,000 damage normal attack. I mean, I know this is floor 11 for the current abyss, but like, that's not all right. All right, let's pop this back down. We need a little love. All right, cool. A little bit of Chalbedo. A little bit of this. Pop this back down. A couple more to go. Yunjin's ready to rock and roll. Where's the squad at? All right, throw this down. Don't do it. Don't make me. Was that 110K? The final floor, floor number 12. We're going all in. Mono Geo squad, 1 5-star, doing his thing. What can we do here? What can we do? 80K, 102K, confirmed. And then we're just gonna heal through. We don't care about this new mechanic. Oh, we didn't crit. Big sad. We did. That would have been cool. All right. Plop this back down, this back down. I'm gonna do this out of order because I want to gain some souls there. I probably shouldn't have done all that. I wasted all of my energy. That might be a bad thing. Kenki boys, and I just wasted all of my energy. What could go wrong? What could go wrong here? We didn't even have Noelle going. I don't even know what happened. All right, let's see what's up. Why is this guy taking like no damage? He's like taking like negative damage. Oh nope, actually he's taking all the damage. Can we hit them both? We get both the Kenki brothers? I'm just standing in your stuff, man. I'm in your ice. I'm in your ice. I'm hanging. I'm chilling. Let's get some extra energy. Throw that back up. Yes, sir. Throw that back up. Yes, sir. We're back. Oh, I did a baddie. Oh, I played wrong. It's fine, though. It's fine. I should have used Goro's burst first. Now we can. You guys want to play? Can I crit? Where's my crit? I have like 65 crit. Where's my crit? Where's it at? All right, let's enter battery again. Battery him up. Oh, rude. Oh, I didn't have max stacks. Go down. Get out of here. Kenki boys. Weak counter, but Noelle's ready to rock and roll. Double Favonius, it is strong. I love it. So much energy regen. That guy got eviscerated. He got sent back to the Shadow Realm. That's okay. We're gonna heal back up. No problem. No problem. Aw. You juked me, bro. Oh, that Yunjin counter. Ooh, I got one. 80K, and she's on Favland still, which is kind of nice. All right, we can heal up here. No problem. Pop this, pop this, pop this. A little energy. Cut them down. I remember these guys are like my aunt. Oh, those days are gone. This is ridiculous. She is such a wonderful character. You have to build your main DPS with as much crit damage and damage percent up bonuses as possible. But she works everywhere, and she does not need to be in a mono Geo team either, because she does actually have breaking conventions. So if you have a lot of different elemental characters in your party, she's gonna be even stronger than this. But build her this way. Check out the build guide. You guys know what to do. I love this character. She's so awesome. Good evening, afternoon, morning, nighttime, whatever it is out there with you beautiful smiling people. Noelle, a whole year old. We're going over noob to pro, everything that I've learned from Noelle the entirety time of Genshin. Y'all have had access to her, and I know more people are gonna be playing her now due to the whole fact that, well, you know what? Let's circle back to our roots here. And, she does do some amazing stuff. Very, very solid character for your second Abyss party, your main healer, you do it all, your Swiss Army knife. So as we go over this character again today, 1 year later, if you like this video, make sure you hit that sub button, especially if you find yourself coming back here all the time, and make sure you turn the bell on as well. Now, 1 year ago, I decided to pick up and main Noelle, and I've been using her ever since. And man, is she not just a powerhouse monster. Now, we're gonna be going over some mistakes you might be making with this character, some things that you might be having wrong with this character, some misinformation that you've been told about this character, some of the best weapons, artifact sets, gonna be very easy for you to handle here. So let's get into this for you guys. Now, first of all, 2 weapons I want to talk about here. You already know what they're probably gonna be here. White Blind, as well as the good old Serpent Spine. Both are fantastic / amazing weapons. She abuses these weapons more so than anything else in the game, especially if you get some refinement ranks on these bad boys. White Blind obviously is a crafted weapon, Claymore. You got to get the prototype for it. Use this thing. It's going to be amazing here for you. Gives you defense percent as the main stat. It also increases your attack and your defense by up to 12% for 4 stacks. So 48% attack, 48% defense, plus the additional 51.7% defense, which is amazing for her because of her elemental burst. You turn all of this defense into attack, and it's a doozy, especially if you get her to Constellation 6 one day. It is a doozy of a weapon for you to use there. It even bests the 5-star weapons. Another weapon that bests 5-star weapons is going to be the Serpent Spine. The Serpent Spine is amazing as well. Now, it's easier to build than the White Blind, and at the end of the day, neck and neck, they're about the same damage. We're talking like 1 to 2% depending on what artifact, substat, main stats you're rolling there, how well your artifacts rolled. And this weapon is amazing too. So give you crit rate, and then if you have some refinement ranks, you're a battle pass man, woman, child, woe buff it, you're gonna get some bonus damage, up to 50% damage bonus here. Now, the one differentiation between these two, they might do around the same amount of damage here, but this one is going to increase the damage you take while boosting the damage you do, whereas the White Blind here is going to boost up the damage you do and reduce the damage you take slightly based on your defense. It's also going to increase your heals in your shield size from your ability talents. Quickly talking about ability talents here, priority. Well, guess what? You need to level them all, okay? So the most important one here is Sweeping Time in combination with the normal attack. Now, a lot of people get this one mixed up. They think Sweeping Time is the damage multiplier you do with your attacks after you use your elemental burst. That is not true. When you activate Sweeping Time, the first 2 hits, she'll pop the sword and swing 1 time automatically. That is Sweeping Time damage. Everything you do else afterwards, when you're spinning around in a circle, just normal attack spamming, that is from your normal attack talent tier. So you need to level them both up to maximize your damage. If you've been seeing small numbers, that's the mistake you've been making there. Now, Breastplate here is also good. It's your shield. It also helps you heal while it's activated, and this is going to be both based off of your defense. It also has a little bit of extra flat healing and damage absorption on top of that. So this one is also very good to level up, but it's not the majority of where your damage comes from. It's where your healing comes from as well. It also has a very lengthy 24-second cooldown, but nice and clean. Thankfully, it's going to reduce that cooldown as you do damage. Every 4 attacks that you do, it's going to reduce the cooldown by 1 second. And then don't forget about Devotion here. When you have an active character that's not Noelle and you fall below 30% HP, they're going to get a shield equal to 400% of her defense, which is the make or break actually between choosing the White Blind for some people and choosing the Serpent Spine, because having that big defense is going to be a very big shield for you there. Now, artifact selection, very easy. There's 2 sets you really should focus on here. One of them is going to be either the Gladiator set, the other one's going to be the good old Retracing Bolide set. Both these sets are fantastic here. The easiest one to kind of get access to, because you're going to be leveling up your character if you're a new player, you're doing those world bosses, the hypostasises, all of those things out there. You'll be able to get some Gladiators Triumphant from that. And this is going to increase your attack by 18%. We don't really care too much about that. Noelle's base attack at level 90 is 799. This is going to be like right around slightly under 160 attack, which is okay, but nothing game breaking. And then the 4-piece here, if you're using a sword claymore, which we're using claymores, you do an extra 35% normal attack damage. Now, the other set's gonna be the Retracing Bolide set. Increases your shield strength by 35% for the 2-piece. This is gonna make you a bruiser DPS healing legend god out there, okay? It's gonna increase your survivability while she's out on the battlefield with her own shields or someone else's shields by 35%. Super awesome. Then the 4-piece here is while you're protected by a shield, and this counts as her own shield or maybe like a crystallization shield or some other character shield. And crystallization shields counting are a huge thing because you're gonna make them over and over and over. With Noelle, you get 40% increased normal in charge attack damage. So if you'd like to spin to win out there, this is gonna allow you to boost up that spin damage by 40%, which is gonna do a lot of AoE damage if you're surrounded by like 6, 7, 8 enemies. Spinning to winning is what you're doing here with Noelle. Now, as far as main stats go for these artifacts, Geo Damage Goblet is at the end of the day what you're aiming for, okay? And then you're gonna have a crit something circlet 99% of the time, if you can get a crit rate circlet with a large crit damage subset like this one here, maybe a little energy recharge, it can help you out tremendously, and that's going to boost up your overall damage. Having high crit rate is what you're aiming for here. And our sands is a defense percent sands. This is here for multiple reasons. Number one, you are going to get more defense per roll than you will attack. So this is a 58.3 sands at plus 20. This is a 46.6% attack sands at plus 20. So you get slightly more defense than you do attack. In addition to that as well, as you level up sweeping time, so you get it to plus 13, you get 85% of your defense goes to your attack, which is quite a lot, right? Is it 100%? No, but you do get 85%. And what'll happen here is that extra little defense per roll will sort of make up for the whole fact that you don't get all 100% here. But on top of that, eventually as you play through the game, maybe you're a new player, you will eventually one day hit Constellation 6, which is going to give you an additional 50% of your defense towards your attack. So going for defense right away is actually going to save you time and make you better in the long term, and you're not going to really lose all of that power in the early game. Plus, you're going to be healing for more and shielding for more. So that is why we're going for a defense percent sands. Now, as far as subset goes, crit chance, crit damage, defense percent. If you get some attack, that's fine. One stat you really don't need is Elemental Mastery. It's gonna boost up your crystallization shields, but they don't really matter all that much. But you do want a little bit of energy recharge. So my total stat distribution here right now, 54 crit rate, 148 crit damage, 129% energy recharge. And that is going to be, if you can hit this, that's kind of like we'll call it the gold standard, right? I know someone out there is gonna be like, I have 198 crit damage. Well, you're the G, okay? You got it. I don't, but this is like the gold standard. That's what you try to hit eventually. These are a nice stat spread. 2-to-1 crit damage crit ratio is mathematically the best, but try to hit 55% if you can't keep that 2-to-1 all the way up there. Now, as far as constellations go, there is one very important one. If you can get it early on, if you want to make her your healer DPS substitute, Constellation 1 is very good. And this is going to be because it's going to make your elemental burst in your elemental skill when both activated, make your heal chance 100%, which is a big one there. Outside of this, the other ones are okay. Charge attack damage up, that's fine. Extra levels in your shield, that's fine. To be cleaned is pretty cool. Like when your shield blows up, it hits for 400% of your attack. And this does also count if you have your elemental burst activated, where your defense goes to your attack. When it blows up, hey man, if you got that elemental burst activated, it's gonna blow up for a lot of damage. And then obviously C5 and C6, super awesome. 3 extra levels to sweeping time, and then it must be spotless, 50 extra defense to attack. Super awesome there. Now there's so many teams that you can run with Noelle that it's just amazing. Now, if you can do it, I would try to run her with at least one other Geo character. This is for the Geo Resonance, and the Geo Resonance is, I think, one of the best resonances in the entire game. Shield strength increased by 15%, which is why you saw that I had 50% shield strength in my stat screen, 35% from the retracing bolide, 15 from this, 50% stronger shields. Also, you're going to do 15% more damage, and your enemies are going to have their geo resist reduced by 20%, which is a big damage increase there in comparison to not having this ×2 elemental resonance. Now, there also are a bunch of characters that you can run with her in a double geo team. You can run Ningguang, you can run Zhongli, you can run Albedo, you can run the main character as well if you have them in their geo form. All fantastic characters to run alongside her. They're all doing different things, and they're all good for certain reasons. If you want an off damage field character, Albedo, Ningguang, big single target burst damage, also has a geo damage buff up. Zhongli, I mean, what do you want? It's Zhongli, all right? Zhongli. But definitely try to run at least one other geo character. It's a very solid second team as well if you're just getting into trying to build a second team for the Abyss. Start with Ningguang and Noelle, and then fill in whatever you need for the other parts, right? You have like a shield or healer, you have a single target damage dealer, you have an AoE damage dealer, fill in something else, right? Maybe you need certain floors a pyro character, a hydro character, a cryo character. Put those characters there, work on your second team that way. So this is what I call the raw damage squad, and it's pretty interesting. So we have Noelle, we have Bennett, and we have Kujo Sar. Now Kujo Sar does not need to be C6, she's just another attack buffer. You can see our attack right now is going to be 1,259, which is extremely low. So what we're going to do here, very important also, first tip here, is the white blind. If you're using the white blind, these stacks that you get from the white blind, you want to get all 4 stacks before you use your elemental burst. This is because the defense part will be snapshotted when you activate your elemental burst. If you don't have them, then you'll snapshot 0 buffs from the stack. So we want to get our buffs up here first. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll pop this. We need to pop this. We'll activate. And now we have 6,807 attack. We have the attack buff from Bennett, we have the attack buff from Kojo Sara, and we have the C6 defense 2 attack buff here. Now, if you had this team in your party and you have access to choosing between White Blind or this Serpent Spine will definitely out damage the White Blind here, because yeah, you'll lose 1,000 attack or whatever, but you'll gain 50% elemental damage bonus, and that will significantly outweigh the extra little bit of defense to attack ratio we got from the White Blind. So keep that in mind there. In this one circumstance with this one team where you're running double attack buffer, okay, that's where you're going to be using the Serpent Spine over anything else, although you will be losing out on shield strength as well as heal strength on top of that. And you can do, a considerable amount of pretty decent damage here off the top 46. Answer other common questions I see about Noelle all the time. It's what about XYZ 5-star weapon? If you have the White Blind or the Serpent Spine, you have some refinement ranks on them, don't do it. Like, I have a unforged R5 and it's not better. Okay, so White Blind, Serpent Spine, go for that. The defense scaling is just too good in combination with her Constellation 6. Even an R5, something like the Unforged, pales in comparison to the good old White Blind. It's so amazing on her just because you have so much stats. Almost 100% defense, and then 135% of your defense goes into your attack. It's absolutely wonderful. Now, the other one I see is Goblet. What about Defense Goblet? I read in this one guy said Defense Goblet. Defense Goblet is not what you're going to want to be doing now. If you have equivalent substat rolls, crit chance, crit damage, all that good stuff on a Geo Goblet or a Defense Goblet, go for the Geo Goblet. It's wonderful, especially if you're using an attack buffer there. Now, however, if your Geo Goblet is terrible, it's got like 12 attack and HP, and that's it. That's all it has. And your Defense Goblet has a bunch of crit chance and a bunch of crit damage, go for the Defense Goblet because it has better substat rolls. That is 100% what you're wanting to aim for. It's just not worth sacrificing all that crit chance and crit damage for that little bit of elemental damage there. And even though this guy's not intended for new players, I get this question all the time from new players. I don't have these artifacts yet. What should I use? Honestly, just use whatever artifact that has good rolls. If you get like a Geo Damage Goblet, use it. I don't care if it's a healing goblet. If you get like a defense percent stance, use it. I don't care what set it's from. I don't care if it's martial artists or berserkers or scholar set. I don't care. You're not matching sets early game. It does not matter. Use the best stats for you. It'd be better for you to have like a 50 crit rate, 95 crit damage character than it would be for you to have like a 10 crit rate, 55 crit damage character, but you have a 4-piece set on. It's not going to outweigh having just the raw power of the right stats on your character's early game. Just aim for stats. Don't look for sets. Just remember, just because she's a maid doesn't mean that she doesn't need some love and some care. She needs all the talents leveled up, all that stuff, just like this character. Noelle, you gotta clean this up, girl.
It's that time again. Time for an updated Noelle guide. From the build to the characters you're going to be using her with, everything to tackle Sumeru into 3.1 and beyond will be covered here.
Sponsored by Amazon in the App Store today.
The Amazon App Store allows you to save a bunch of money when utilizing in-game purchases with applications such as Star Trek Fleet Command or your other favorite applications that you can also find on the Amazon App Store. With the power of Amazon coins, you can save up to 20% off anything you purchase in any app. In Star Trek Fleet Command, play in your favorite universe with your favorite crew members. Gather together, join millions of players to dominate the galaxy. To check it out, look no further than the link in the description below.
So go ahead and check that out. Thank you once again for that sponsorship. And let's get into the content.
Thing I hear all the time, you need to focus on elemental burst damage. False, very false, and it is the one thing that gets taught wrong by old videos on YouTube all of the time, or wherever you see them, TikTok, Twitch, whatever. When you activate Sweeping Time, the activation of Sweeping Time, where you see elemental burst damage and skill damage, is the 1-2 punch from activating Sweeping Time. Afterwards, though, everything you do with those large lightsaber attacks, those are all based off of your normal attack talent, and they also do normal attack or charge attack damage. Another incorrect thing about Noelle's burst here is you see the defense to attack bonus. This is snapshotted. It still is even in 2022. This means that as you activate this skill, it will look at the exact amount of defense you have when you hit the button. So if you use her elemental burst and then buff up her defense afterwards, you will not get more increased attack. So if you're using something like the White Blind or anything that gives you defense bonus like Goro, make sure those things are buffing her defense before you activate her elemental burst. Let's talk about some super advanced techniques that you can use for Noelle. There's 2 of them. The first one is going to be the bunny hop. Basically what this one is, if you jump and you actually kind of like get on top of the hitbox of someone's head, then you can do an attack input and you will do a plunging attack. Now, the more advanced of the 2 is going to be what is called Dragon Strike. It is harder to do because it is very frame specific and movement specific. You can do it without a movement speed buff, and the way you do this is as you see the hit input, the sparks flying as you hit an enemy, you hit sprint and then jump, and it will propel you just high enough in the air to then do a plunging attack. And if you're having a hard time with this, don't feel bad. It is incredibly hard to do in Master, but if you want to make it easier for you, make sure you bring a movement speed buff like Jean's Constellation 2 or like Diona while you're shielded. A 10% movement speed buff is kind of all you need to practice this technique. I already touched on it a little bit in point 1, but if you're here saying, I don't know why I don't do any damage, you probably don't have your skill, your burst, and your normal attack all leveled up at the same time. And Noelle is a greedy character. She wants her skill for healing, she wants her burst for damage, and yes, she also needs her normal attack leveled up for damage as well. She needs all of them, the full trifecta. She's a very lonely maid. She's working all day. Give her a little bit of love, okay? Not a rapper. Now, another thing that's 100% true in 2022 is Husk of Opulent Dreams is her best set. It is a set that put her back on the map and made her do way more damage, way more healing, and way more support all at the same time than she was in 21 before the set came out. Yes, it's better than Gladiator set, and yeah, it's better than the good old Retracing Bullite set, which used to be my favorite one. Shield strength increase, charge attack, and normal attack damage. This one beats it out by miles because the defense bonus, 54%, amazing. 24% geo damage, amazing. It's gonna edge it out, but you're gonna have to level up a brand new set for that. And if you're not ready to do that, don't feel pressured into doing it. But once you get this set, and as always, if you like the content, make sure you leave that like, hit the sub for more stuff. We're having fun all the time. As far as artifact stats go for Noelle, you're going to be looking for defense, crit chance, crit damage, and a very small amount of energy recharge across all of your substats. You're also going to be using a defense percent sans, a geo damage goblet, not a defense goblet, and either a crit damage with high crit rolls or a crit chance circlet with high crit damage rolls. This is going to allow you to do as much damage as possible while also still shielding and healing your team. If you do the correct build for Noelle, and you put a lot of love into her, she's going to be an absolute monster for you. Weapons for her, there's the Battle Pass Serpent Spine, which is a fantastic thing. Crit chance and damage bonus up. This means basically 30 to 50% geo damage bonus equivalent, which is awesome. So if you've been doing those footstool techniques in the Dragon Strike techniques, that's going to increase your plunging attack damage. It's going to increase your normal attack damage. It's going to increase your charge attack damage, your E damage, the activation of your elemental burst. It's a fantastic weapon. However, you also have access to the White Blind, which is a crafted weapon. It's going to give you defense stacks and attack stacks, and it has defense percent as the main stat. This used to be on par with the Serpent Spine. Back in the day, they'd be a little bit of damage away from each other, but the White Blend would give additional healing. However, with the Husk set, with all that bonus defense, the Serpent Spine, even at R1, is going to win out because that crit chance and flat damage bonus up with the Husk set's 54% defense bonus is just way too good to pass up. Obviously, if you have the Red Horn Stone Thresher, well, if you have this bad boy at R1, you don't have an R5 spine, you have the right crit chance, right 2-to-1 ratio, this thing's gonna be insane, absolutely insane. When it comes to building and using Noelle, think of her as the anchor for your party, the damage dealer if you have the gear for it, but the healing and the support is her primary focus, and the damage will come later with better artifacts, gear, in party setups. While Noelle can be that solid rock foundation and pillar for your team, when building a team around her, look no further than adding another geo character for the element resonance Enduring Rock, increasing your shield strength by 15%, while also increasing your damage by 15%, while lowering lowering enemy resistances to Geo by 20%. When looking for additional Geo characters to add additional damage to your party, Albedo as well as Ningguang are your first characters to go for. While Zhongli will now also provide additional shielding with Dominus Lapidus, his elemental skill, but also reduce element resistances for enemies around him. Looking to increase the capabilities of Noelle herself, look no further than both Goro as well as Yunjin. These characters' talents and ascensions as well as constellations will increase Noelle's capabilities of doing damage as well as healing, either with Goro's ability to boost up both defense in his talents as well as crit damage and geo damage of his Constellation 6, but also Yunjin with her own elemental burst, the Cliffbreaker's Banner, adding an additional multiplier to Noelle's own damage. Outside of Geo characters, the Raiden Shogun's ability to increase the elemental burst gauge of Noelle is quite powerful, and Yelan also has the ability to increase the damage during Noelle's elemental burst with her ability Adapt with Ease. Look to these characters first when building the team with Noelle as its focus point, and let me know what you're using down below.
Noelle is a character many Genshin Impact players have access to. Today we're going to answer all of your questions about the best ways to use Noelle, her best weapon, the best stats you need to be getting on her artifacts, her artifact sets, and how you should be using her in Genshin Impact. Thanks for spending that time here in the video today, guys, and let's get right into it for you. To understand the importance of stat allocations that you need to be making with Noelle in your gear selection and choice, you need to comprehend her talent selection. So let's head right into it, starting first with Breastplate, her elemental skill. Breastplate does a couple of things. It is a geo damage attack with a relatively high cooldown that can be reduced with her Ascension 4 talent, nice and clean. In addition to that, because it is geo damage, you can create the crystallize effect with it. The damage that it does do scales off of your defense, and upon using a Breastplate, you will apply a shield that will persist through character swaps to Noelle for a period of time. While this shield is around, you will also be able to heal your party with not only your normal attacks, but also your charge attack damage on hit. The higher the level Breastplate is, the larger the shield scaling off of your defense gets, the more damage it does based off of your defense, and the more healing it provides, and the heal proc actually increases. So this is going to provide a lot of utility for Noelle. And lastly but not least, while Breastplate is active, you also have a high chance of reducing any oncoming knockback to your characters, preventing you from becoming knocked around the map if you are so unlucky as to not dodge an attack. Her Elemental Burst is another epitomal part of her kit. Sweeping Time allows you to do an insane amount of burst damage when properly geared. It does a couple very important things. First and foremost, it's going to augment your normal attacks and your charged attacks by extending the range of them and then turning them into geo damage. This allows you to take advantage of geo damage artifacts because it's no longer a physical attack, it's going to be geo type. In addition to that, it's also going to give you bonus attack based off of your defense, and this bonus attack does scale based on Sweeping Time's level. It seems to be about a 3-ish% change per level you get in Sweeping Time, which allows you to get some very, very nice scaling on Sweeping Time, and this works extremely well with the gear selection that you're trying to use with Noelle. Also with her base stat, she has a very high base defense stat, and she actually gains passively bonus defense percent every time you awaken her. Her first awakening here will give you Devotion at Ascension level 1. This is some additional utility for Noelle. While Noelle is in your party but not the currently active character, if your active character falls below 30% HP, you will get a shield that persists for 20 seconds that absorbs damage equal to 400% of Noelle's defense. This can only happen once a minute though, but this is an insane shield, giving that character plenty of time to survive and do damage and maybe get Noelle back into Breastplate, provide another shield, and slowly heal them back up. The final level 4 Ascension talent is nice and clean, which will help you reduce the cooldown of Breastplate, which has a normally very lengthy cooldown. Every 4 normal or charged attack hits will decrease the cooldown of Breastplate by 1 second. This is going to substantially change your uptime on Breastplate, especially if you are using Noelle often in your active character slot. Now, Constellations, Noelle is a 4-star that actually scales extremely well with Constellations and actually only has her full potential
unleashed at certain constellation levels. So the first one here is I Got Your Back, which while Sweeping Time and Breastplate are both active, which means her elemental skill and her elemental burst, the chance that you will heal someone with your breastplate is 100%. This greatly increases her availability to become your main role healer. There's no more RNG in your heals, and this is a fantastic constellation to get. Combat Maid is going to provide you with extra charged attack damage, increasing the damage by 15%, but also reducing the stamina cost by 20%. This will also play a role in how you want to gear her up at the end of the game to do some incredible damage as well. Invulnerable Maid is going to increase the level of Breastplate, and then Favonius Sweeper Master, Constellation level 5, is also going to increase the level of Sweeping Time. But we also have To Be Cleaned, which is a very unique constellation. When Breastplate duration is expired or destroyed, it deals 400% of Noelle's attack as geo damage to surrounding enemies. This is a very unique skill to try to master. Generally, you're not going to be geared to fully take advantage of this. The best way to take advantage of this is to have Breastplate expire while your Elemental Burst is currently active. This way, you are going to be gaining all of that bonus attack based off of your defense. And speaking bonus attack based off of your defense scaling, Must Be Spotless, her final constellation, is what really unlocks the insane potential of Noelle. Sweeping Time increases Noelle's attack by an additional 50% of her defense. Additionally, every enemy defeated during the skill's duration adds 1 second to the duration, up to 10 seconds there. The first part here is why we're really here. 50% additional attack scaling off of her defense is a phenomenal thing and allows you to gain access to an incredible amount of stats. But before we talk about stat priority, let's talk about the 3 artifact sets that you should be aiming for as you are working on Noelle. Early on, you're going to have 2 different sets to work towards. You're going to have the Gladiator's Finale set, which will give you extra 18% attack on the 2-piece, and the 4-piece set will give Noelle an extra 35% normal attack damage. The other set bonus that you could be working on at this time is the Martial Artist set. This gives you the 2-piece of 15% normal and charged attack damage, as well as increasing it by an additional 25% to both normal and charge attack damage after using your elemental skill. Now, her elemental skill has a very long cooldown on it, but you are using the martial artist set to maximize the amount of burst damage that you get from her elemental burst. This is actually very strong early on because you'll get the full 40% damage bonus during that elemental burst. You will come out, you will use her elemental burst, use her elemental skill, and then start using your charged attack. If you have her level 2 constellation, that will get an additional 15% damage increase. If you don't, you can either choose to use your normal or charged attack, your choice. Later on though, there's going to be some much better stuff for you guys to gain access to. Those 2 sets are fantastic, but by far the best set for her is the Retracing Bolide set. This is because this skill set works in tandem with Noelle's skill set. The 2-piece bonus of this set increases shield strength by an additional 35%. That is not the reason why we're using this exact set, but it does work well with her additional shielding properties in her kit. The 4-piece bonus here is phenomenal. While protected by a shield, grant an additional 40% normal and 40% charged attack damage. Noelle does not have just one skill that offers up a shield. She does have the shield from her elemental skill, but she also has the elemental crystallized shields when hitting enemies with earth damage. This is going to be applied constantly while you're using her elemental burst because it does do geo damage, and you will be gaining a shield during that time. This leaves you freely to choose between normal or charged attacks at your leisure whenever it is that you want to have Noelle out on the field. So it increases her defensive and offensive properties to the maximum capabilities currently in Genshin Impact at the same time. That is why endgame, you should be getting your hands on the Retracing Bolide set if you want to push Noelle to her fullest. As you journey through Genshin Impact, the different stat priorities that you're going to be having for your Noelle are going to change. Early on, you're probably going to want to just max out her defense to gain the most amount of support possible. During the mid game, a nice balance of attack and defense will do you quite well, and then you want to add on some extra crit hit chance as well as critical hit damage. Later on, you're going to want to once again max out just her defense. Why is this and what dictates that? That's because early on it's very hard to get gear that is itemized, artifacts that are itemized super well for Noelle. Take instance this Gladiator's Triumph, its base defense percent, so 58.3 defense percent, and also 21.6% attack percent with a little bit of crit hit damage and some HP thrown in there as well. Ideally, one of these HPs would go away. We would also have access to critical hit rate, but we don't have that in this instance. But this is the kind of piece of gear that you're looking for in the mid game. You want to balance out that attack as well as that defense. Early game, it's hard to get something like this. So if you want to use her, you're going to be using her for your healing properties, especially if you're exploring the Abyss. You're going to need 2 different healers, right? Barbara will be for one team. If you have your hands on Noelle, that'll be your other one. During the mid game, though, you're going to want to try to maximize how much damage you can gain while she's out in your party, and this is going to lead you down the road of attack plus defense plus crit hit chance plus critical hit damage. Elemental Mastery strictly for Noelle is going to increase the elemental shield values that you gain from the crystallized effect on the monsters. It's not going to affect your geo damage. It's not going to affect the strengths of your normal shields and your elemental skills. It's literally only going to affect the crystallized barrier effect. So you can feel free to just forego Elemental Mastery on her. But why later on is it that we are starting to once again go back to straight up defense? And later on means way later on when you have Constellation 6. Once you obtain Constellation 6, you're going to be able to abuse the fact that Noelle is going to have some insane defense scaling damage. Now, technically the stuff that she does do still scales off of her attack, but you're going to be gaining a tremendous amount of attack based off of your defense. Constellation 6 here adding an additional 50%. And remember, later on, you're going to be having higher level talents, especially Sweeping Time itself, because as you level Sweeping Time, this already gives you even additional amounts of attack based off of your defense. You can currently see our attack as 1,322, as well our defense 1,725. We're going to go into a battle, stack up our 4 white blind stacks, and then we're going to use our elemental burst and come back in and check out our stats. You can kind of get an idea of just how powerful this scaling can be. You can check and see how many white blind stacks we have right now. 4 swords means 4 different stacks, 1,400 attack there. And then we're just going to pop this burst, hit it a couple of times here, and we're going to see that we have 2,552 attack, 1,910 defense. This is not the full potential of Noelle. We're not Constellation 6. Our talent for Sweeping Time is not maxed out. Our white blind is not maxed out. Our gear and stats are not perfectly allocated here. You can see the insane amount of damage potential. We're missing 50% scaling just from the constellation here. You can get some incredible attack numbers, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 attack. This is also due to the fact that the base stats of Noelle are incredibly powerful. You can see she has 617 base defense, which makes her stat allocament towards defense at the end game, like we were talking about, her best stat to stack for burst damage with her elemental burst. In addition to that, every time you ascend her, you can see she's going to get an additional base defense increase on top of a percent defense bonus increase. So this is going to be a very powerful way to utilize Noelle to her fullest near the end game. Noelle's a character that can carry you through the early game, will probably fall off substantially for you in the mid game, but when given the proper treatment with the proper substats, the proper main stat, the proper team support to help her fill up her elemental burst, she can do some insane burst damage for you while also providing you that very powerful shield, as well as the elemental shield from the crystallized effect in your team. She might not slot into every team, but hopefully this guide gave you the ways to use her and utilize her to the most efficient that you can as you progress through a Genshin Impact. If you guys want more Genshin Impact coverage from the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. It does help us get exposure because this is a new game. Leave below the way that you're using Noelle the most in the comment section below, unless you're
going to be saying Expedition, then you can take that one back. But until then, guys, stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.
Good morning, maybe it's evening time out there. It's a little bit nighttime for Steven. We're going over one of the best two-person combinations that I've wanted to make a video about for a long time. We all know how much I like Noelle. You probably know that already. And also, you may know how I like the Raiden Shogun. A lot of you guys left me feedback. Do they work well together? We're gonna showcase some builds here for these two characters. They are so good. So if you have access to this character, get ready. They are good teammates. Oh, so good. Now, you might have a keen eye. You might be seeing that, yeah, I was wearing this in a previous video. That's because I recorded at the same time. You mathematical genius, you have good eyes, and you're probably pretty smart as well. So go ahead, hit that sub button, like as well on the video, and I'll catch you guys. Noelle, you know what? I haven't changed my build in forever. Still on the 4-piece retracing bolide set with 1-off piece. We're focusing on crit chance, crit damage, defense as well. So we're looking at 54 crit rate, 148 crit damage, a little bit of energy recharge, although you probably don't need it with the Raiden Shogun here. 129% there. We have a tanky girl here, and this is the core of the team. Raiden Shogun, Noelle, why do they work well together? Well, Raiden Shogun, as you can see, you know, she heals up your elemental burst energy. Very awesome there. Very strong elemental burst regeneration rate with the Raiden Shogun. Now, one thing I do want to talk about here, a lot of people were confused here. This elemental burst damage bonus here, it does work with Noelle, but it doesn't work with what you think it works with Noelle. So this is for the elemental burst damage. So with Noelle, this is only going to factor in the activation here where it says elemental burst damage / skill damage. That's all that is working with. It's not going to work with the rest of your follow-up attacks. Those are all still normal and charged attack damage though. So don't think that you're getting that extra big damage bonus from Raiden Shogun with the entirety of sweeping time. You're only getting on that activation skill. So it's gonna be a little bit cool there, but it's not gonna be a make or break thing. As always with Noelle, we're gonna have a full, you know, noob to pro thing coming out real soon. I wanna get like a new guide. It's been a year, right, since Genshin's been out. A lot more has been learned about the game. And she is a very fantastic character. You'll see that in this as well. Now for the rest of our teammates here, we're gonna be using Bennett because Bennett is, you know, kind of busted, and then you can use like another Geo character in a team like this. You want to use another Geo character with Noelle for that ×2 Geo resonance because, well, it's pretty good. I mean, if you haven't checked out the Geo resonance yet, this is what you get. Shield strength up, nice, okay. Damage increase up, and then Geo resistance down for enemies. So triple trifecta. You want another Geo character. It does not have to be Albedo. It can be Zhongli. It can be Geo main character. It could even be Ning Wang, who is going to be pretty powerful in here as well. She's gonna have infinite elemental bursts here due to her having very low cooldown on her elemental burst and very low energy requirement. So also would be a solid teammate in this team. And I just want to touch on the Raiden Shogun build. Obviously, we're still using the 4-piece emblem of Severed Fate. We're not doing anything unique here. You can use the engulfing lightning. You can use the catch. You're just building for damage like you would with a traditional Raiden Shogun. So we have 50 crit rate, 127 crit damage. I know it's not the highest in the entire world. We don't have all of the stuff to make her the main carry that we've had in some previous videos with like Kujo, Sara, etc. But she's more of a supportive role here, and she can still get the job done. And one of the cool parts about this team is that even if you're starting out, right, Raiden Shogun doesn't have infinite uptime on her elemental burst. It only lasts 7 seconds. Noelle, especially if you're not C6, it's gonna run out eventually. And so what you can do is go back and forth between the two. Use Noelle's elemental burst, use Raiden Shogun's. Raiden Shogun's will fill up Noelle's again. Use Noelle's, use Raiden Shogun's, and back and forth and back and forth. And you'll have your two other characters, in my case, Bennett and Albedo, to supply a little bit of extra damage here. So since we have Noelle's elemental burst ready to rock and roll, we're gonna start out with Noelle's burst. We're gonna drop Albedo's thing, get this guy, drop this, summon this, and then we're gonna gain our white blind stacks, very important. Pop this, and then let's go. Let's go in here. Now these guys are tanky, but we wanna cleave them down. Very tanky. Stand next to each other, please. Thank you. We'll get the shield pop maybe. Stop backing up from each other. Why you gotta do that? He's dead. He's dead. All right, so we have some time here. We're half gauge, so we'll just go into Raiden Shogun here. And, oh, he can gain his HP back. Actually, this is kind of cool. So it's gonna show, look how fast we got our Noelle's elemental burst back. It was at half, now it's at full. So once Raiden Shogun's elemental burst runs off, right, if you wanted to, you can go right back into Noelle if you so desire. This was a little bit of a slower run, but it was necessary to showcase the fact that you can go back and forth between the two. Very easy, right? We're in Noelle's elemental burst. Raiden Shogun's is ready to go again. So once Noelle's wears off, you go back into Raiden Shogun, you pop Bennett, you pop Albedo. You can use this in Abyss. Very powerful in any circumstance. Very good steam.
And this will even bring Noelle up in single target fights, because that's really where she kind of is the worst, because she's very good at AoE cleaving, Noelle is. But in single target, she's kind of like, what am I doing here? What's happening? Stop, please. Let's go fight like this mechanical array guy. Let's get these white blind stacks. All right, let's fire them up, and then we'll be able to see the regeneration power of Raiden Shogun in combination with Noelle here as well. I don't think Raiden Shogun is going to fill it up all the way for her, but if we get enough here before we run out, we'll be okay. Just want to stretch it as far as possible. We'll probably get him to push all the way to split up mode where he gets the little guys out, pushing the little guys. Now we can do the little guys with Raiden Shogun, wherever they are, or art they. Who is it going to be this time? I'm very bad at reckoning. Okay, this guy down here. Hello. Hi, sir. Getting some energy back. Absolutely destroy this guy. And I don't know if we'll get Noelle's energy back. Yep, done. That 5th hit, good to go. Even in a single target fight, Noelle's ready to rock and roll with Raiden Shogun in combination. Oof. And remember, we had 29%, almost 30% energy recharge on Noelle, and then we had 27, almost 25, 27, 275. Okay, not 27, 275 energy recharge on Raiden Shogun there, and you got a little bit extra from engulfing lightning when you use your elemental burst as well, so like 300 in some change percent. So you get some extra big old energy back from her elemental burst there. Because remember, it's not just base 2.5, it also gets boosted up by the Enlightened One Ascension here based on your energy recharge stat. So every 1% above 100% is going to increase your energy gain back from your elemental burst, which is going to go a long way to boosting up that Noelle, guys. And I mean, like, even Steven, he likes this build. He's a Noelle stan now. He's a Noelle stan, aren't you, Steven?